And away we go, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The Rob Brown Show is back in your ear holes, in your eyeballs. After a couple of days off, after a long 3-day weekend, we make our, in my opinion, triumphant return with banners unfurling, trumpets sounding in the distance. Spectacular to be with all of you here on the radio broadcast yet one more time again. My name is Rob Brown. How do you do? Hope you had a lovely weekend. Hope it was a 3-day weekend for the majority of you. If it wasn't, sucks to be you. Sorry, because it was for us. And it was good, man. Got to go down to the Sunshine State, the FLA, the 850, and spend some time with La Familia. Groovy. It was fantastic. Had a lovely time. Got to watch my nephew. He's discovered his love of basketball. He's terrible, but he's trying.
Did you really? So you're cracking on a 5-year-old? He's
asleep.
But still, he's terrible. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
he's 6. He's 6. So what'd you expect? Did you
Not much.
expect Dwayne Wade handles and some Stephen shooting?
The misery was this. The misery was that. So my drummer lives up in Charlotte now. We decided we were going to ride down together, and he was supposed to be at my house around 5. 7.5-hour drive, was going to put us down there about midnight. Not a problem. Right? No worries at all. I don't care. I'm like on weekends, I'm up till 2 a.m. anyway, so whatever. It's not going to matter. Except for he picked up a nail on the interstate on the drive down from Charlotte. So we didn't end up leaving my house until after 8 o'clock on Friday night, which didn't put me into Pensacola until about 4 o'clock in the morning to then get up at 8 a.m. to go watch my nephew play basketball. And it was more like I was totally fine with they dribble once every 55 steps, whatever. That's fine. I was fine with, of course, their shooting form's going to be terrible. They're 6. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what I'm not okay with? Play defense, dudes. What are we doing? You're old enough to know what defense is, okay?
They don't do that in college basketball, so why? I mean, So you're worried about defense. Here's the thing. I mean, defense doesn't come till later. You learn offense first as a little kid.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We need to be teaching these kids defense. Your first 4 practices of Mighty Mouse basketball should be on defense, not on offense. It shouldn't be. It should be on defense. It should be about here's the spots where you defend, get low, arms outstretched, stay light on your toes, keep your hips sunk back so that you can change
Sounds overly complicated for a 6-year-old.
Well, maybe you guys should have higher expectations. Maybe this is the problem with America. You guys are out here kid gloving 6-year-olds like they don't know what defense is. No, all I want you to do is all 10 of you run to the basketball and all 10 of you stand around it at the same time.
I remember my 6-year-old in the outfield for softball picking up dandelions when the ball is hit out there. So yeah, I mean, they're still 6 years old, dude. I mean, attention span, it's very difficult. It's more like, I would guess that maybe soccer's a little bit easier to learn at 6.
What are we doing?
Because you're just
a live look at me Saturday morning.
Because you're just running. And if you've ever watched like 6-year-old soccer, it's just a lot of running. But basketball, I think, would be pretty difficult to learn at that age.
It's so not. It's so not. It's so not.
Okay.
Here's what I need you.
When was the last time you were 6?
Here's what I need y'all not to. Long time ago. Here's what I need y'all not to do. What I need y'all not to do is have all 10 of you with your hand on the ball at the same time. I need you not. It wasn't a game so much as it was like a game of keep away where all 10 people had to keep their ball on their hand on the ball at all times. It was just back and forth, a mass of 6-year-olds back and forth.
Here's this thing, though. This has been happening for a really long time, and out of that comes pretty good basketball players.
Could be better. We might have a league full of LeBrons if we taught these kids how to play ball earlier. No, No, it was good job, Johnny. Good job. No, it wasn't a good job. No, he just tackled his own teammate who had the ball. He just ran full speed into his own teammate who had the ball, trying to rip the ball from his own teammate. If any one of these kids would have just went to the rim and waited, they'd have had 100 points. The score would not have been, as the second game was, 6-2.
Wow, that's pretty good for that age.
After 24 minutes. So my nephew's team scored one basket in 24 minutes. One basket.
Yeah, it sounds like a half for some college teams. Lou's all happy. His uncle's there to watch him play.
It was pretty awesome.
He's nervous. He looks up, and then there's a what are we doing? I mean, just seeing that look on your face, like, what is going on here?
Lou caught an earful because at halftime of the second game, when it was time for the layup lines, the jump shot lines, I look over and Lou and half his team are playing tag around midcourt. I'm like, hey, come here. And he walks over. He's like, what? And I'm like, why are you playing tag? He's like, we're having fun. I'm like, this is not the time and place for that.
Yeah, sports not fun.
No, sports are fun.
It's serious business.
If you were doing the sport, get in line. I was like, get in line, do a layup. He's like, why? I was like, because you are 0 for 12. Do a layup. Then drive 8.5 hours to watch you go 0 for 12, kid. He's like, okay, I'll practice a layup. I'm like, great. He hits a layup in practice. I'm like, come here. What? Don't do that in the game. He's like, but they try to stop me. Yeah, I know. But none of them can because they're all over there playing tag with each other. If you just come out here and just do layups and get good at those, you will dominate this league. They will name the 6-year-old MVP trophy after you if you will just hit a layup. That's all you got to do.
There's a part of me.
It's a 5-foot-tall rim.
There's a part of me that actually believes that this is you're directly quoting yourself.
I'm not. All right, listen. It started as a joke. This part's real. Okay? It started as like, haha, Rob's playing a character who hates kids. Yeah, haha. We've all had our fun on the show. This part was 100% legit. And so his dad, my brother, we go to halftime, and his dad, my brother, and I are sitting in the stands, and we're talking about, whatever else, the All-Star game and the gig we're playing.
So you're basically playing tag in the stands when you should be focused on the game, and how you could improve the future prodigy out there.
I'll tell you how I improved them. I told him, sink the hips, get the arms out wide. Don't let the kid hit the penetration move on you.
And the 6-year-old heard, wah, 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 wah.
No, he got it. He got it. He figured it out because in the first 5 minutes of the second half, my nephew was the only kid not trying to kamikaze into anybody who had the ball.
And probably the only one who wasn't having fun because he was scared to death that Uncle Rob was going to yell at him.
Fun. You know how I know he's having fun? Because when the game was over, game number 2 was over, and they won by a final score of 6-2, and he had 2 of the 6. When he came over, he was like, Uncle Rob, we won. I'm like, yeah, dog, I know. That's what's up. Do you know what other games you can win? All of them, if you would just try. Just play basketball. I told my brother, I'm like, why are you guys paying for him to do this instead of just going to the park? Just go to the park if he wants to play tag. This is a gym. I went straight Gunther. This is the sacred hardwood. All right? We don't enjoy ourselves here. We enjoy ourselves in the locker room after we win here. Lewis, get it together. I mean, hit 2 layups in the last part of the game. He got it, figured it out. If I don't go tackle the guy with the ball every time the guy gets the ball, sometimes I'll be open. He was open. Oh, the dude on the team was like, yo, hit him with a little, it wasn't a bounce pass. It was more of like just kind of chunk it in the general direction of Lou. But he found it. He took it. Took the layup on the 5-foot rim. Let's go. I got him there. Rob Brown showed up for 17 minutes. And his team went 2-0 on the day. You're welcome. You're welcome, coach. Their coach, super nice guy, but he's out there on the floor. And I watched one little kid dribble to the sideline and then keep going. He just ran up into the stands with the ball, live ball. Coach is like, that's okay. It's okay, Sam. Good job. I'm like, that's not a good job. Why are we telling him that is the opposite? That's a bad job. My man took the live ball and just brought it to his mom in the stands like she was going to check in and knock down a mid-range jumper. That's not a good job, Sam. That's the exact opposite of good. That's a terrible job, Sam. Do better.
I'm making fun of you, but I was you, except I was their dad. So my wife was, why don't you just let them have fun? They could do better. I mean, they'd come and sit down and it's like, I'd always be, what did you do wrong? What could you do better? You need to do this. You need to do that. It's like, why do you not just let them have the moment? It's like, yeah, we're in the moment where they just messed up or did what they did. It should be pointed out to them so they could get better at it. I mean, yeah. So I want to laugh at you, but I kind of was that.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Because they suck and they don't have to.
But here's they are only 6. So.
Here's what it comes to. Let me tell you where this comes from. Like I said, this started as a joke, but now it's for real. Okay? Let me tell you where this comes from. It comes from the fact there are 2 facets of this that drove me up a wall. Number 1, everybody out there, every time any of these kids did something that was the opposite of a good job, they got a gym full of applause. A gym of people going, good job, Sam. It wasn't a good job, Sam. Do you see this dark black line that's painted on the court? That's the sideline. Everything on the other side of that is the banished realm. Do not go there. Your job, Sam, is to keep the ball on this side of the line. I don't think it is being overbearing to expect a 6-year-old to know, stay on this side of the line. At 6 years old, if you go into class and you color outside the line when you're painting the little clown with the crayon, does the teacher not come over and go, all right, we're getting better, but you got to stay in the lines? Why is it different on a basketball floor? Stay inside the lines. If those lines didn't matter, we wouldn't put them down. It just free for all, go wherever you want, but we have lines on the ground because that's the rules of the game. And if you want to win, you got to play in the rules of the game. And I know I know winning's not everything. I'm not even a winning's everything guy. I wouldn't teach a 6-year-old basketball team winning is everything. You know what I would tell them? Playing the game the right way is everything. If you play the game the right way to the best of your ability and you lose, it happens. Losing with graciousness is part of the life lessons you learn from sports as a youth. But also as a youth, I need you to understand how to get your game right. I need you to learn learning the rules. I need you to learn working with your teammate. I need you to learn all the little life lessons that come via sports. And I don't think it is being overbearing to expect that by 6 years old, Sam knows taking the ball and running it to your mom. Your mom's not on the team, bro. She's not on the team. I know this for a fact because she's definitely not 6. That kid's on your team. You know how I know? He's wearing the same shirt as you, Sam. Give it to the guy in the same shirt as you. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. We got to take a break to play tag now while the clock's running. Cool. So I'll tell you what. I told Lou, I'm like, here's the deal, dude. If you just, when coach says layup line, oh, here's the best part. Coach says layup line, right? It's layup line time. Get in layup line. This is how every basketball team from the NBA down to Pee Wee, whatever, Mighty Mouse basketball. Every basketball team starts warm-ups with the layup line. I don't even need to tell you what the layup line is. You know. I'm like, yo, when coach says layup line, you get in the layup line and you do the layup line. And what drove me nuts is coach calls layup line. These kids all start playing tag. Did coach go start grabbing red jerseys? Sorry, they're blue. They're the Magic. Did coach go over and start grabbing blue jerseys and going, hey, Sam, get in line. Hey, Patrick, get in line.
Yeah, you got to be careful these days because, if you pull the jersey too hard or something, you might get fired.
Soft-ass parents.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's unfortunate, but it's true.
Go over, get these kids, coach. You're the coach. You coach them. And if they don't want to be coached, go to Mrs. Sam's mom and go, look, here's the deal. Your kid's either going to do what I tell him to do or he's not, and he's not going to be on my team. It's your pick. It's your pick. You're the one that paid for him to be here. So either Sam's going to get in the layup line Or you can take them to go play golf or whatever. Get them out of here. I didn't get it. Like, coach is standing there watching 3 out of 12 players do layups. The other 9 are playing tag. One was, I'm not kidding you, laying on the ground under the chairs in the bench, laughing at nothing. Just down there having the time of his life. Like, no wonder you guys are 0 for the season. What are we doing here? You're dragging my nephew down. I'm like the Lamar Ball of uncles.
You sound like, I wish I could be like those 6-year-old kids just laying down laughing at nothing.
Time and place, Lonzo. Time and place.
All right. I hope Lou didn't have his day ruined by an overzealous uncle.
He did. You want to know why he didn't? Because they went 2-0.
And then you bought him ice cream, didn't you?
No, I had to work the Saturday show, so we didn't get ice cream.
Okay, all right.
All I'm saying is, parents, if you're gonna put your kids in the sports, if you are going to pay money for them to do a sports, why in the world would you sit there and watch why are you gonna watch your kids play tag during a basketball game? Hey, come here, Sam. You are here to play basketball. And if you let's go with the softer side of Rob Brown, all right? The Charmin soft side of Rob Brown. I am 100% on board with going, do you want to play? And if the kid says, no, Ma, I don't like basketball, then that's fine. Okay. We'll find you something that you do like. Right? We'll get you out playing golf or soccer or baseball or whatever. It's okay if you don't want to play this game. I don't think you should force your kids to do something they don't want to do. But on the flip side, if they do want to do it, then teach them how to do it. What is this weak stuff where I'm sitting there on the sideline watching 9 out of 12 kids play tag on the court? They're not even getting out of the way of the kids who want to play ball. There's like 6 out of 24 kids out there that are genuinely trying to play ball, and these kids are like cutting through the layup line playing tag, playing freeze tag onto the basket. What are we doing? If you don't want to be here, that's okay. I support that. Go play soccer or violin or draw or whatever you want to do. I will always have your back, even if you want to be an art kid. Do your thing. Find your passion and do it. But if you're going to be out here and you're going to be out here with the kids that do want to ball, then get in the layup line and warm up. This is unbelievable. I had no idea I was going to start my day off with a rant like this, but I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. Let's see. Texter here said, thankfully, Rob doesn't have kids to gaslight. Sheesh. What am I gaslighting? You're in a basketball gym, wearing a basketball jersey, dribbling a basketball on a basketball court for a basketball team in a basketball game. Play the game or get the hell off my court.
Apparently, Texter, ball is life. I don't know that we really understood that.
Dude, listen, it is one thing if you come home from work and your kid's at the kitchen table and he's like painting a bird or whatever, and you're like, no, get up and go dribble. Like, no, that ball's not life in this moment. It's a kid. He's got to have a world of interest so he can drill down on what his passion is. But when you are on a floor in a jersey holding a basketball with 24 minutes of competition between you and the other team, then yes, in that moment, that's what you are here to do. I'm not a sports guy, Lonzo. I'm just a one sports guy. We've talked about this. There's time and place. If the lady friend and I go on a date later, I'm not going to sit at the table and be like, hey, babe, did you see William Byron won the Daytona 500? How do you... I'm not going to do that because it's not the time and place. But when I sit here, I'm dialed in. Laser focused. Mamba mentality. I'm just saying, if you're going to put your kid in a jersey and put him on the basketball court in a basketball game, in a basketball gym, I don't think it's crazy to expect him to get in the layup line and warm up. And if he doesn't want to do it, that's okay, but get him out of the gym and get him out of the way of the kids that do. Sam playing freeze tag onto the ball is preventing the kids that are here to play ball from playing ball. There's a whole world you can go play tag in. There's 9 parks in Pensacola that are driver 3-iron from that gym. Go to a park. All right, we're good. Texas said Coach Rob. Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
like
unless you're a 6-year-old,
I like
you don't
that.
want to see Coach Rob roll up onto the court.
Coach Rob, I'm 100% with you. Start teaching these kids to play smart and hard. Hard work teaches discipline, and disciplined people navigate life. My game face is on. Signed, Carpool Mom. Good to have you, Carpool Mom.
Way to go. What a well-written text, too.
That's my dog, Carpool Mom.
I bet she will not allow people to get in the line wrong.
Listen, imagine Carpool Mom shows up to carpool number 1 and pulls into the driveway, unlocks the door, and then out comes, mom of the kid she's picking up, and she's like in her pajamas, and she's like, Sam's not out of bed yet, but don't worry, we're going to get him going. No, I'm here. This is what I'm here for. It is carpool time. It is not sleepy time. It's not brushing teeth time. That was a go. That was 5 minutes ago. It's not getting dressed time. It is get in the car because it's carpool time. And you didn't even get Sam out of bed yet? No, I'm out. I'm gone. Put him on the bus.
On behalf of the fan upstate, if your name is Sam, sorry. You taking some heat this morning, Sam.
Listen, I don't know how to tell you.
First you're playing tag, now you won't get out the bed.
When Sam grabbed the bat, for the way, didn't get a pass. Sam's teammate was standing at the top of the key, trying to figure out what to do. And what does Sam do? Sam, guy on his team. Sam runs over, grabs the ball from his teammate, and then runs it to his mom in the stands. No, mama's boy. She ain't on the team, dog. If you don't want the rock, give it to a kid wearing the same jersey as you that does. Give it to Lou. I now know for a fact Lou can hit a layup. I've seen him do it. Give it to Lou. Lou will score if you won't, Sam. But your mom ain't on the team, bro. Get out of the stands, stay in between line. And if you want to sit with your mom in the stands, that's fine. I'm a mama's boy too. I ain't mad at it. You want to stay with your mom, stay with your mom. But take the jersey off and be a fan.
Try football, Sam, because it sounds like you have some DB moves there. You stole the ball and just took it home.
Ugh. Texas said, will Rob say these youth coaches need a little more Bobby Knight in them? No, I just don't need them to all be whatever that guy was. But for the record, if you are coaching youth sports, you're an awesome person and you have my full support. Just do it better. That's all. I appreciate anybody who puts in that effort, but do it better.
I don't know about full support. That didn't sound like full support, but do your jobs, do it better, I think is what I heard.
Just run your layup line. All right. What a start to the week. We got to take a break. We're coming back here in just a minute. We got a lot of sports to get to. The Rob Brown Show rolls on next. It is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, good morning. I got a live read. Stay right there. We'll come right back. Don't go anywhere. right, we're back. Good morning, everybody. Trey, April, Mike. Good to see you guys. Hope you had a great weekend.
By Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options and easy-to-use mobile.
I didn't go live with the band because the guy that usually runs our stream every year was sick. So he sent his backup. Our sound every year was sick. Sent his backup. Didn't quite go the way we'd hoped.
That bad?
Oh, not good. First show in a while that I walked away like that was not ideal, and that's okay.
Good to have those every once in a while.
Even Jordan missed a shot. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the fan upstate, Rob and the great one, Lonzo. Hi, Lonzo. I didn't actually say hi last segment. Hello.
Hello, Rob.
How was your weekend?
It was wonderful.
Spectacular.
I'm glad that you really care.
Did you watch any youth basketball?
I did not. I watched a little bit of the All-Star game, but not the game.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I watched some of the activities, not the
skills
game.
Competitions.
Yeah, the good stuff.
All right, let's start with the easy part of the conversation. I thought the LED floor was cool as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
It was.
I thought it was cool as hell.
It was pretty cool. I just wonder how distracting it was for the people actually out there on the court, because I'd just be stopping and looking at it.
I will say this: the floor was dope. I really liked it. The only mistake I think they made was having it glow bright green during the 3-point competition because it looked like a bunch of Martians competing. Like everybody was green.
All right, so I missed the actual 3-point, but I saw Steph versus. Yeah, I saw that.
I thought that was good.
And
honestly, I enjoyed, and I don't know if
I think Steph held back a little.
I think Sabrina Ionescu put up as many points.
She did. She did.
Dame did to win the men's.
She did. Oh, she looked awesome. It looked like he was not trying as hard as he normally does.
Maybe.
And maybe he's just getting older. Maybe it's a little more difficult.
He is. He's like an ancient 31.
In basketball years, that's pretty old.
Like 90. I enjoyed the skills competition. I enjoyed the LED floor. I think the only mistake, and I'm sure it'll be rectified next year if they bring that thing back, and I hope they do. The only mistake I think they made was having it glow green during the competition, during the 3-point competition, because, like I said, it looked like a bunch of Martians out there shooting threes because they were all glowing green. I think they flip it back to a hardwood look. You can keep the logos down. You can keep the spots down. It did not appear, though I could be wrong, it did not appear that the floor impacted the game. I was a little worried about that because I don't know what kind of polymer they put over the LED screen. I was concerned that it would impact the game. I was concerned that these guys playing on a different surface, it would kind of throw them off a little bit. But it didn't appear that it did, A, and B, while they were playing Great One, it just looked like a regular floor. Like you couldn't tell it was an LED floor unless they lit it up.
So I didn't watch the actual game, and I hear that it's a good thing that I didn't, that it was atrocious. They scored like 400 points or something like that.
396.
But for the slam dunk contest, they made the floor look like a regular floor. And I thought that was really cool.
They did. They also made it obviously look that way for the game itself. And I did not think that you could, like I said, I did not think that you could tell. It didn't look to me like it was a different floor than usual.
Yeah, I just wonder if glares or anything would be a problem. But it didn't appear to be a problem for anybody.
It did not.
I did like during the slam dunk contest how they made like fire trail the guys when they were running and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought the optics were good. I thought everything was good except the All-Star game. And you listen, you guys have listened to the show for more than 5 days. You know that I am totally fine with All-Star games not being like the height of competition, right? If Luka and Jokic want to run down and tipping the ball back and forth to each other before throwing an oop, fine. But it was the first time, this game was on Sunday night. I was playing a show Sunday night, but we didn't start until right at the very end of the game. So me and a couple of buddies at the bar getting ready to start our gig were watching this game on one of the TVs in the bar. And I walked away. It did not hold my interest. And that I hate that. And I don't really know, I've seen 100 people with concepts on how to fix it. I've seen $1 million to every player on the winning team. I've seen make it USA versus the world. Have an NBA All-Star team of Americans and an NBA All-Star team of foreign players. I don't think there's a lot of good foreign players. I don't know if there's enough to field a competitive All-Star team to compete with Team USA. I've seen, even though everybody chastised it, go back to having the 2 leading vote getters be captains and schoolyard pick a team. I've seen that concept floated. I don't know what the answer is. What I do know is there's never defense in this game, but this was a new level of no defense. It's like the guys that were on defense were just walking back to the free throw line and letting the team with the ball go to the rack to do cool stuff. Dude, then just do the dunk contest. Then just do the skills contest. Add a couple more games add some team-based games to the skills contest. Make it a celebration of how athletic these guys are, because this was the first time, and as long as I can remember, that I walked away from the All-Star game because it wasn't fun.
So what you're saying is you saw the progression of the 6-year-old basketball team if coached and things would continue the way that they were going. This is the end game of that. Because you complained about no defense for the 6-year-olds. Apparently there was no defense in this game.
Look, I'll put it this way. If I go back down and Lou says, Uncle Rob, can we go shoot around in the front yard? Absolutely. Let's have some fun. We have fun. One-handed hook shots. I'm going to see if I can throw it from behind the board over the top and make it. And then there's a game. It's an all-star game. It's supposed to be a break. All these guys are off from their NBA team. It's supposed to be a break. I don't have an issue with the game not being treated like it's a regular game that has playoff implications on the line. It's supposed to be fun. I'm not saying I need everybody on the All-Star team to slap the hardwood and go bananas. I'm not. What I'm saying is whatever that was boring. The dunk contest, not boring. Mac got another one.
And it was controversial because when they gave him the poor score for his first dunk, and then they made it up in the next one, I mean, that crowd was behind him, and he was the best guy out there for sure. I mean, and it always comes down to a shorter guy being able to do what he's able to do, having that kind of vertical. It's amazing. But I mean, and he was G League Rookie of the Year, and why is he not playing in the league? Is he just not very good at regular basketball?
No, he's average, and that's okay. I'm fine with the dunk contest. Here's the other aspect of it, and I don't know if this would incentivize. I think you ditch the All-Star game, and you require, as a member of the All-Star team, I think you require every All-Star player to be involved in at least one skills competition. Can be the 3-point shootout, can be the dunk contest, can be an obstacle course. I think you gotta make it more like the Pro Bowl weekend, right? Pro Bowl weekend is flag football. Not a ton of defense. What was the final score in the Pro Bowl this year? 75-64, whatever. I'm fine with it. But because we don't have the linemen anymore, the linemen are doing obstacle courses and relay races and running through cardboard walls. I think the NBA's got to move in that direction. Because it used to be that the NBA All-Star game was kind of a highlight on the basketball calendar. It was kind of a highlight that it almost felt like it was must-see TV. And then, like I said, it's the first one that I can remember. I just got up and walked away. I was like, all right. Now, I don't have an issue with Dame pulling up in a 52-foot three and telling the world it's Dame time. No issue with that. But, man, one of these teams scored 200 points. 200. And it wasn't like everything was look, if it was 200 points on 100 dunks, I'd be like, all right, that's pretty rad, right? That's pretty good. But it wasn't. Half the baskets were just pass and layup, pass and layup, pass and layup. If this was a mocked up dunk contest, and instead of jumping over Hyundais or Kias or whatever, they were jumping over Nikola Jokic, that's one thing. But I'm watching Luka and Nikola come down the floor, tipping the ball to each other. Okay, fine. Getting to the paint, okay, fine. And then just laying it up. I can do a layup. Lou can do a layup. I just taught him how to do it. I didn't get it, man. And it's too bad, because these are the type of events that you need to utilize in order to continue to pump up the sport. We tune in to watch freak athletes do freak athletic things. We tune in to watch freak athletes do things with a basketball that we can't pull off on a video game. Not 200 points worth of layups. It's not what we tuned in for. So I don't know if we rock and jock it. Remember rock and jock basketball back in the day? Like teams made up of celebrities and athletes, and there was a 10-point circle. You had a 10-point jump shot from half court. You had 3 baskets stacked on top of each other. If you made it through the top basket, it multiplied whatever shot you made by 3. It was just weird stuff. And we can have a million debates about how to fix it. All I know is on Sunday, there was a bar full of people. The All-Star game was on a 70-inch television over the top of it, and not one of us, even me, noted sports guy Rob Brown, was like, nah, I think I'm gonna go watch a band play. I got nothing for this. This isn't my thing. And it's too bad. I'm a basketball guy. I love the game. I should be going out of my mind to watch the best basketball players on planet Earth hoop. And it was a snooze fest, dude. It's a snooze fest. That can't be that. I don't know what the solution is. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't know what the solution is. I've heard a lot of people propose a lot of different things. I don't know which one is the right one. I don't know if it's foreign players versus American players. I don't know if it's $1 million to every player on the winning team. Nothing to the... I don't know what the incentive is. I don't know how you fix it. I just know that whatever it was that happened Sunday from somebody that I'm going to assume is probably one of the most staunch NBA defenders in this state. I don't know what the solution is, but I know what the problem is. And the problem is whatever I watched on Sunday night made me walk away from that game. It's not going to get it. Did anybody else watch it? Any of y'all got thoughts on the NBA's All-Star game on Sunday night? Lonzo watched everything but the All-Star game. I tried to watch the All-Star game, and after about 15 minutes, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I can't do a 400-point outing. Can't do it. Not good enough for me. I'm not saying I need it to be a real game with hard-nosed defense. I'm saying whatever that was ain't it. The analogy I've used in the past. I don't need to be able to cook a Ruth's Chris caliber steak to know that the one that you put on my plate is ruined. That's kind of how it felt. I don't need to offer you a solution. I don't need to offer you a solution on how to fix it to be able to tell you there's a problem, because there was. All right, let's take a break. Got a lot more we need to get to over the course of the show. University of Texas gave Steve Sarkisian a new contract, and lulz. It's pretty bad. They didn't learn their lesson from A&M, did they? We'll talk about that. Hey, remember last week when we told you that the college football playoff had signed a new television deal with ESPN for 6 years and like trillions of dollars? Turns out maybe we jumped the gun on that. We'll tell you what that shapes up to be. We got NFL draft talk to get into. Justin Fields maybe on the trade block. How does that shake up everything? We're addressing all of that as the show rolls on. My name is Rob Brown, the great Lonzo on the ones and twos. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the Rising Stars games. Unfortunately, the event that I was doing down in Florida required the majority of my attention most of the weekend. I also did not get to watch the 500 yesterday because I was driving back while it was on.
Upstate traffic. So far looking pretty good this morning. Southbound 85 moving well between 276 in Greenville and 26 in Spartanburg. And keep in mind there is an ongoing road from southbound 85.
Man, I'm
delay here. Highway 29, Wade Hampton.
That's the opposite of what it is.
Greenville and Spartanburg. From the News Talk 98.9.
Whatever they used in the stairwell and the restroom was strong.
Like a cleaner?
Yeah. It's gonna make it really difficult for me to read here in a few minutes, but
I'll turn it back on.
that's all right.
I was getting blown out on the stream. My face matched my glasses.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime.
There's a clip of the live action Last Airbender online.
I saw it last night.
Wow. The fire effects are really good.
It did look good. I don't know a lot about the source material.
Well, Cameron watched every episode. He was really into it. I watched some of it. Enough to know some of the character names.
Yeah.
But not enough to know the entire story. So it'd be fairly fresh for me to watch it.
Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be
Wait, Rob's on the screen during the intro? No.
Was it the one where I was drinking a beer? Because of course it is.
Well, if they put a statue of you out front of the building, that would probably be
What's the pose? I'd like to do something one day that warrants a statue somewhere.
can already feel it. I told you. So, you ready? I'm ready.
It's a fun movie, Trey.
Yeah, it is fun. I watched it again the other day. It was on.
Yeah, it's one of those
Whatever
now
service
that
it's
if
on.
you're flipping through and it's on, it's like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna watch it.
yeah.
Yeah. Hugh Grant's amazing.
He is.
Wrapping up the opening hour of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great Malonzo on the ones and twos. This AMI, we might as well continue down this path. Earlier in the show, we were talking about my nephew's youth basketball game and my, I would say, mild level of frustration with it. Okay. I'm only talking about it now because my mom's not awake and listening yet. At least I hope not. We'll see how much trouble I get in with her for this. But I want to continue on a different conversation here. Now, it's going to start with the sound of a baseball segment. I promise you it is not a baseball segment. Stick with me. Anthony Rendon is a player for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Anthony Rendon has, over the years, struggled with injuries. He has been dealing with injuries that have made him miss a lot of time over the past couple of years. Anthony Rendon has gotten paid a lot of money to miss a lot of games for Major League Baseball's LA Angels of Anaheim. Rendon did an interview with The Athletic yesterday. And in the interview with The Athletic, he said, quote, "It's never been a top priority for me," talking about his job, talking about baseball. "It's never been a top priority for me. This is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving," end quote. Rendon is set to enter his fifth season on a 7-year, $245 million deal that he signed with the team back in 2019. Played in just 43 games last season between early season suspension and a shin injury. In fact, Rendon has not played in more than 58 games in a season with the Angels since he has signed. He has been a member of the LA Angels for 546 games. He has played 200 of them to this point. Now, injuries happen, right? Injuries happen. And unfortunately, there's not much you can control with that. I mean, you can be in the best shape you can be in. You can be as pliable as possible. You can have somebody give you, the stretches and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, if you twist the knee, you twist the knee. If you roll an ankle, you roll an ankle. That's just kind of part of the game. But then there's the other side of the coin, which is fans busting up Anthony Rendon. And they have been since he showed up. Why wouldn't they? $245 million for 5 years, and you're playing less than half of the games you're eligible for. That is a problem. Rendon said, quote, "They don't know me. They only know the surface area. They're fans, right? They might know that I'm 6 feet tall at 190 pounds, but they don't know who I am as an individual." Oh, wait. Cool flex, man. Cool flex. "Barry Bonds is arguably the greatest player to ever play this game, and people still hate him. You can't make everybody happy. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't want to have surgeries. You think I'm going under the knife and being in pain the majority of the time? I can't pick up my kids. I can't walk. You think I enjoy that? I don't want that." So my question is, do you think a professional athlete can be successful with this attitude? Do you think a professional athlete can be this successful with this attitude? Because Anthony Rendon is getting hammered in the media right now for saying, hey, look, I like baseball, but it's not my priority. My family's my priority. My faith's my priority. All these other things are my priority. This is not my priority. And Angels fans are absolutely busting him up. And the first reaction I had was, Nikola Jokic is doing just fine, isn't he?
Okay, because I was thinking of that the entire time. You were saying that. Yeah.
Yep. Nikola Jokic is doing just fine. Remember last year when the Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship and they did the interview with Nikola? Nikola could not get out of the gym fast enough. They're like, hey, dog, you're an NBA world champion. What do you want to do? He's like, I want to go back to Serbia and sit with my horses on my farm. They said, Nick, your championship parade is coming up. Are you going to be there? He's like, when is it? It's Thursday. Oh, no. That's too far away. I got to go home. Nikola Jokic does not want to be an NBA player. He's just doing it because he happens to be ridiculously good at it, has the right build for it, and is otherworldly talented. The reality here is you can absolutely be an athlete who has immense levels of success despite not possessing that mama mentality. You can absolutely be that good and have that level of success without being a trained assassin on the basketball court or on the baseball diamond or whatever. You absolutely can. But you kind of do have to be special. You can't have average talent and also be a killer. If you're going to have that mentality and succeed, you got to be Nikola Jokic good. You got to be walk on the floor, lock it up, a triple-double. Good. Now, if you take the mama mentality and you put it into the mindset or you put it into the body and the skill set of a Kobe or a Mike, yeah, that person's going to be legendary. Very few people have that mindset, that mentality. But a lot of them do, and they just have average skill sets. You can only do what your body is tuned in to do. I was a good baseball player, couldn't hit a baseball. Good defender, good pitcher, couldn't hit a baseball. I couldn't go anywhere with it. I practiced and drilled and did everything. I just couldn't do it. I had a phenomenal mentality as an athlete. I just wasn't good. Anthony Rendon is a good baseball player, a real good baseball player. Anthony Rendon has Major League Baseball talent. There's no doubt about it at all. Does he have the talent that would allow him to succeed with the mentality of baseball secondary to me? Probably not. Probably not. Got him paid, got him to LA, but that's not going to carry him anymore. Him getting busted up by fans, hey, I'm going to say, hey, look, leave the guy alone. But at the same time, if your team's hitting him with 245 milli over 5 years, yeah, I kind of expect you to play more than 40% of our games. So I don't know. I don't know if the verbal elbow drops on Anthony Rendon are justified or not. I am saying you can succeed with sports being a secondary priority, but you better be otherworldly talented to do it. All right. I read that story yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know how much people care about it, but I felt the need to say something. Hey, speaking of someone saying something, Lonzo is about to say a lot of somethings about sports news into your ears and make your day better with this Sports Flash.
Definitely. Here comes something. Rain in the area forced the Daytona 500 to be run yesterday, and it turned out to be a very good Monday for race winner William Byron, becoming the first Hendrick Motorsports winner in Daytona in 9 years. The 26-year-old Charlotte native won Hendrick's ninth 500, tying them with Richard Petty Enterprises. Byron started his career racing virtually. So he played video games. Byron was first crossing the white flag when a caution was thrown, ending the race and securing the win. The number 15 UConn women's basketball team knocked off number 21 Creighton 73-53, giving head coach Gino Oriyama his 1,203rd victory and securing him a spot above Mike Krzyzewski on the all-time winners list. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. as the Furman men's basketball team takes on Sanford right here on the Fan, upstate.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more select OSB sheathing. Plus, save 10% on bulk purchases of Hillman galvanized fasteners. Visit us in-store or online for materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th to 11th for the 2024 Eagles SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family. SoCon seeks to compete for a championship in the first event and celebrate tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely. Find a store or switch Suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Kelly Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offer. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the it's, KBB.com.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show, it's Bad MGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on The Fan. Bad MGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Your latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time, relevant sports wagertainment. Tonight at 7. Bad MGM Tonight, exclusively on The Fan. And on the Odyssey app.
Wow, how many of those are we playing in a row?
The official sports voice of you, the Upstate Fan. CBS Sports Radio. Live on the free Odyssey app.
Man, check this out.
I did not, Trey. And I missed my window, and apparently it's really bad, so I probably won't.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It is getting roasted by everybody. And away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show is in your ear holes now. Wonderful to be back with you on a Tuesday. I am Rob Brown. Over on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM, the guy in control of this radio show, this radio station, frankly, just radio as a whole. The Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave himself, the great one, Lonzo, is here with you as well. What was that? What was that look? That looked aggressive.
Yeah, not.
Okay, all right.
Do you want me to tell you? You want me
The
to say?
eye roll was real right there.
All right. T2 just sent me a link of, how the matchups, people do matchups for, just about anything.
Yeah, like a bracket contest?
Yeah, no, this is just a matchup. Vegeta makes Superman shaking his boots.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yes, I rolled.
The eye roll was hard right
Yeah,
there.
my eye roll was because T2 hates DC. So in all things DC.
So it was a nerd eye roll.
Yes, it
I
was.
respect that.
It was.
I respect that. All right. Good weekend. Glad to be back. Got a nice little trip down to the Sunshine State Inn. And now we return refreshed, rejuvenated, and reinvigorated for just more sports talk radio excellence, if I may say so myself. It is, wait for it, 7:02 in the morning as of this exact moment in time, which means you are now less than an hour away from clocking into work. You are now less than an hour and I assume a half away from taking your first break of the day, stretching the old legs, getting into the groove by walking down the hallway, standing around the water cooler and talking sports with your coworkers. And if you're going to walk down the hallway, gather around the water cooler and talk sports with your coworkers, then you, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"Shut the hell up."
even before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know when you take that first break and start talking sports with your workplace proximity associates. As the great Ron Swanson might say, let us begin, ladies and gentlemen, with item number 1. It rained in Daytona on Sunday, and that was wildly disappointing for your boy because I scheduled my whole day around the Daytona 500. Unfortunately, the Daytona 500 had to be pushed to Monday due to bad weather in the area. Joey Logano was on the pole, was looking to become the first Daytona 500 winner to win from the pole position since the year 2000. Spoiler alert, he did not do that, in part because of the fact that Joey Logano, along with about 23 other cars in the field, got wiped out in multiple the big ones. Logano's car came to rest in the infield, ending his day after the 6 car got up and shoved him high up into the wall. William Byron in the 24 was able to escape that lap 191 incident and survive. 2 laps to go. William Byron led down the straightaway with less than 500 yards remaining. There was one more accident leading up to the white flag. It collected a number of cars, but the 24 was out front and had just gotten past the white flag when the yellow came on because there was not an overtime in play. The 24 car earned his 7th Cup Series win since the beginning of last year's season. William Byron in the 24, a young man who, Lonzo, speak of the nerds out there, got his racing start playing video games, iRacing, iRacing. My man learned how to race by sitting down in a gaming chair in front of some computer screens, and all he did was win the Daytona 500.
So basically that movie, Gran Turismo.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not that I watched that movie, but I saw the trailers. So
it's pretty impressive. William Byron becomes the 6th driver with Hendrick Motorsports.
Didn't you
to win.
play something similar like that at the museum? At the NASCAR museum?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They have a simulator there, as a matter of fact. The Hall of Fame and museum in Charlotte, North Carolina. You strap into, it's a mock car, but you strap into a car and you get to run a race. I will tell you that when I lived in Florida, there was a guy down there that owned a paint and body shop, and he raced on the side, and he had a setup where he played iRacing, which is what most of these guys use to learn tracks. He had 5 monitors that wrapped around, 1 on the front, 2 diagonal, and 2 on the side. He had 1 up top that charted your position and your lap times and all that. And he had a full sit-down rig. William Byron had a chair and a monitor, right? Like, he wasn't even on big-time racing rigs. I'm sure he is now. He can probably afford it. But he learned on a computer monitor and a chair. He was actually featured very briefly in that NASCAR documentary on Netflix. which, again, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, I encourage you to watch it. It's good. It's entertaining, even if you're not a fan of the sport. William Byron runs the race on Monday, is straight up inches in first place. When the caution comes out while going under the white flag, he takes home the first Hendrick Motorsports Daytona 500 since Dale Earnhardt Jr. did it back in 2014. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen, to item number 2. I was going to talk about the NBA's All-Star game here, but it wasn't good. And that's from a staunch NBA defender. I think the league does much more good than it does bad. So instead, I'm going to bring this up. You will remember that Sean Elliott is back on the Gamecocks coaching roster. Sean Elliott was the head coach down in Georgia, Georgia State, before he made his move back up. And we had a conversation, you may remember, when that happened, in which I said, this is bad for G5 football. This is bad for lower level college football. Now, I am pro NIL. I am pro portal. I understand that I am one of the few of you that feels that way. That's okay. I stand by it. But I also acknowledge that it presents some big time challenges to group of 5 schools, to FCS schools. It prevents a whole new litany of challenges right now. Ross Dellinger put up an article on Yahoo Sports in which he broke this down, something I talked about early last week. And he did this article on Yahoo Sports that I very much like, in which he discussed, he had a conversation with Will Hall. Will Hall is the head coach at Southern Miss. Will Hall did an interview with Ross Dellinger that to me is very entertaining. Hall said that, quote, I do zero football anymore. Zero football in my life right now. I do culture and recruiting. Most of my day is spent all across the southern United States raising money for NIL, end quote. That's what he said. Said his off season is a window into life of what group of 5 football looks like right now. He said the overwhelming majority of his time is gathering donor dollars for NIL deals that give schools the ability to recruit players and, more importantly at this level, retain them. Here's the thing. And by the way, real quick, I'll give you this quote. Liberty head coach Jamie Chadwell said, quote, we're a farm system. No matter who you are going to have to try to hold on to your top players. That gets taxing. We are taking the approach that if a freshman plays and he does well, we're only going to have him for one more year, end quote. This is not, like, it may be worse, but it's not new. It's not. As long as that transfer window has been there, guys have transferred upwards. It is unfortunate. But to be at a Liberty or at a Southern Miss and expect to have the same situation, the same setup as a big school is silly. That's not how anything works. It never has. It's never worked that way. And in no other business does it work that way. If you went tomorrow and started a car insurance company, you would not have the same advantages as the Gecko does. You would not be able to say, State Farm's got Chris Paul in their commercials. How come we can't get an NBA? Because you don't have the resources. It's unfortunate, but I see articles like this in which it certainly sounds like they are inferring that the transfer rule and this kind of stuff should go away because it's hard on Liberty. It's hard on Southern. It's always been hard on you guys. That is the unfortunate reality about playing it. This is why when Jamie Chadwell took the Liberty job, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stay at Coastal until you get an opportunity at a big-time school. Why would you go to a disadvantaged second-tier school when you are a hot commodity coach, unless you just want to? But it's kind of hard for me to listen to Jamie Chadwell talk about how tough it is to coach at a G5 school when it was his decision to be there. It was your call to be there. You could have absolutely coached at Coastal, had another good year, had another good season, and waited for a job at Ole Miss, Mississippi State to open up, an Oregon State, an Arizona State, a second-tier Power 5 school. You decided to go there. Why am I supposed to suddenly agree that we should get rid of all of this, what I consider progress, because it's tough for Liberty? It's always been tough for Liberty. This isn't new. There's just another angle to it now. I found this article real interesting in that it sparked up a big-time conversation on social media this weekend about how hard it is for Group of 5 teams. Yes, it is. And even worse, and maybe more unfairly, it's harder for Group of 5 teams, and coaches aren't getting $11 million a year. Steve Sarkisian's getting $10 million a year starting next year. 10 milli. And it goes up $100K every year for 10 years. Yeah, it sucks. But this is not new. This is not a game-changing thing. So I saw a lot of folks commenting on this on social media, and while it is not a news story per se, it definitely generated some conversation, and we will be coming back to it later on in the radio broadcast. And finally, item number 3. Mitch Kupchak stepped away from the Charlotte Hornets. He was the president of basketball operations, is still in that role until it is filled elsewhere. We are now starting to see not just names, but one name that seems to have jumped to the top of the list. Reports coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, that the Hornets have officially began their search for a new president of basketball operations, and Bulls general manager Mark Eversley is, according to The Athletic, the leading candidate for that position. The Athletic said, quote, league sources have mentioned Philadelphia 76ers GM Elton Brand, Chicago Bulls general manager Mark Eversley, and New Orleans Pelicans general manager Trajan Langdon as the 3 leading candidates for the top position with the Hornets. Eversley interviewed for that same position in 2018 while he was with the 76ers. The previous ownership group for the Hornets opted to go with Mitch Kupchak. There is no word on if the new ownership group will go a different direction. Eversley has been with the Bulls as their GM since 2020 when he took over the team's front office. Before that, VP of the 76ers player staff, then the VP of player personnel for the Wizards, and the assistant GM for the Raptors. Because of his previous post with the Raptors, he's often credited for convincing DeMar DeRozan to choose the Bulls over the Lakers and Clippers in the summer of 2021. Eversley flew to LA to meet with DeRozan and his representation and came away with a 3-year contract. The acquisitions of Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, Andre Drummond, Zach LaVine being re-signed to a max contract, all taking place under Eversley. However, Eversley's team is currently at 26-29 and in 9th place in the underwhelming East right now. So there are questions about whether this will be successful. He has put together a respectable roster in Chicago, a roster that's got a lot of scrap, a lot of grit to it. Problem is, it's a roster that can't be above 500. And I think if you're Charlotte, while your options are going to be limited because you're not a top-notch NBA franchise right now, at the same time, are we really going to go from Mitch Kupchak to a GM that has just consistently built 500 rosters? Like, yeah, they're rosters that look great on paper. But much like the San Diego Padres last year, looking great on paper don't mean a thing if it ain't got that chemistry swang to it. I don't know. I said I had to Point is,
I mean, I heard you were going there, and I'm like, how is he
Yeah.
going to fix this?
I painted myself into a corner there.
Yeah.
I really did. He's put together everywhere he's gone rosters that hang out around 500. And my question is, if you're Charlotte, is that where we want to go? Are we good with a guy that has put together, again, rosters that look great 1 to 12 on paper, but don't win anything? Or is it time to swing for the fence and see what happens? I don't know. I'm not super thrilled about this being the name that's out there. We'll talk more about it as we move through this search for a new president of basketball operations. There's your water cooler cheat sheet. Top 3 stories that you need to know for this lovely upstate Tuesday morning. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I want to go back to that G5 conversation that we were having a second ago, and I want your thoughts on it on the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas phone line at 844-326-3663. On the text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. Is lower level college basketball or college football, both, I guess, is lower level college football dead? Did NIL in the portal kill everything that's not Power 5 football? No. And we'll talk about it when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, quick live reading. We're coming right back. Stay right there. BRB. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Gabby, it's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi, I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can
Anytime
call
anyone
Metro
says good
Realtors
morning, I hear that.
24/7.
That's my own fault.
To buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. It's that time of year. Cash the ticket. Jim Costa with Mike Valletti. Shift the focus from football to college hoops. Playing that system that's not a system, but sure plays like a system. leading up to the tournament. We're looking for that value with the daily dimes. We look to the gross lines, getting us ready for the tournament where we're going to break down all the matchups and have an eye on some future plays too. This time of year, baby. Search Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Take control of your listening experience with Rewind on the Odyssey app. Missed a jaw-dropping moment? No worries.
The Odyssey app makes it easy.
With Rewind, you can relive big moments from Mark Ryan, Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and more. Don't miss a beat. Just hit Rewind with the Odyssey app on the Fan Upstate. Early birds get the sports scoop. The
Let's be very clear. More football is good. Lower level football is good. I've been a fan for many years of lower level football. I'd be willing to suspect that over the years, I've been to, covered, watched more G5 football, more JUCO football, more FCS football than probably anybody listening right now. And it's not a brag. That just is what it is. It's part of my job for sure. Doesn't make me not a fan. But this argument that is implied, I think, by the coaches that were interviewed by Ross Dellinger in the article we talked about a couple of minutes ago on the show, the implied argument is that NIL and the transfer portal have created a world in which G5 football can't exist anymore. It's a bona fide farm system. When was that not the case? When was it ever not that? Even when guys could only transfer once, they still transferred. This isn't new. And when it comes to the NIL stuff, yes, the job is difficult. It's no different than what I've said to Dabo and Shane and all the other top tier coaches, I should say coaches at top tier schools, that have been complaining. When Mike Loxley at Maryland last week complained, I said the same thing to him. The job's hard, bro. And that is why you are getting paid millions of dollars to do it. I suspect, yes, the job is even harder at G5 schools. I suspect it's much more difficult when you're at a Liberty or a Southern Miss than it is when you're at an Ohio State or a Georgia or a Clemson or a South Carolina. Yes, it's harder. You don't have the same resources. When you do make a solid recruiting effort and pick up on a game-changing player, if he's that good, 9 out of 10 times you're going to have him for a year and he's going to go. But I would say there's a couple of things that you might need to pay attention to. Number one, and this is not anything different than what I've said to Shane or Dabo or Mike Loxley or Kirby Smart or anybody else. It just means you need to be better at recruiting, better at assembling talent. You might want to figure out what are the traits shared across the personality of the kids who do stay at a school for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Is there a way psychologically to figure out where the trigger is in a kid that is going to stay on board for the whole time? It seems to me like you might want to try to learn these things. It is, as I have said on this show many times, for some reason, college football is the only business that we have these thoughts about. There's no other business we have these thoughts about. When your favorite bartender moves up into a bigger, better job, you don't go, no. Why? No, you should work here. You're locked in here. You're my bartender, but we do it about quarterbacks. When your bug exterminator moves up to a different company, you don't tell him he's unloyal, that he doesn't get it, that he's got no discipline. You go, oh, I guess I got to find a new bug guy. This is the only business that we do this with. The only one. If you have ever started a company, you know what I mean. If you've ever been around somebody who started a company, you know what I mean. I have, on 2 or 3 different occasions in my career, had to quite literally sell my own. Mark Ryan's had to do this too. Sell my own advertising to go into a radio station and buy airtime. That's the deal. I get 3 hours. I got to pay $500 an hour to be on the air, which means that I got to have $1,500 every day in advertising just to get on the show. Now, could I crack a mic? Go, it's real unfair. It's real unfair that I got to go get $1,500 a day in advertising just to be on the radio, and Jim Rome's making $5 million a year. No, because that's how the game gets played. That's how it works. And eventually, I kept with the grind. I did it. Here I am. And I have resources now in my job that a guy that is getting his start back in my old station wishes he had, for sure. And there are guys above me that have resources at higher levels that I wish I had here. Sure. That's what this is. That's how this works. So am I sympathetic? I mean, yeah. I'm sympathetic to Will Hall. I'm sympathetic to Jamie Chadwell because I know it's not an easy gig. But the solution, at least to me, the solution to me is not, well, let's undo everything we've did. No more portal. We should obligate these kids to stick on a 4-year contract that they sign when they are 17 years old, 16 years old, hell, maybe 18 years old occasionally. We should obligate because it makes Jamie Chadwell's life easier. Not really. Oh, and by the way, those contracts, yes, the school can terminate them after 1 year. So why are we mad that players can do the same thing? Is it going to be tough? You're damn right it is. There is a reason that Sean Elliott left a second-tier school to be he left a head coaching job to go to Columbia to be a tight ends coach. Why? It's an easier job with more money. Quick! While keeping one hand on the steering wheel, raise your hand if you would like an easier job for more money. I hope that you took that as rhetorical, because I hope I didn't just cause car crashes all over the upstate of South Carolina, because the reality is most of us want that. That's always the goal. So yes, Jamie Chadwell's job is going to be tough. Yes, Will Hall, your job is going to be tough, for sure. But guess what? If you figure it out and you're good with it, do you know what happens? You move up to the next level. You know, you transfer up to a higher coaching job. And if you're successful there, guess what you do? You transfer to an even higher job than that. And eventually, if you are the best of the best, you find yourself coaching at a Power 5 Southeastern Conference, Big 10, Big 12, ACC university, and making a lot of money to do it. I read this article. There were comments about, Chip Kelly leaving a head coaching job at UCLA for a coordinator job at Ohio State. He took a plus $3 million pay cut to do it. Just like I'm not going to fault a guy for moving up for more money. I'm not going to fault you for moving down for less money if you're going to get more fulfillment out of your life. I also do think that it's kind of ridiculous that there are all these people talking about Chip Kelly as if he wasn't a sub-500 coach at UCLA. He was getting it handed to him every
We
week.
still remember in Oregon. So, I mean, and then there's also the fact that it looks like he's jockeying to be the next guy at Ohio State.
Maybe he is. But he just left a artist formerly known as the Pac-12 head coaching job at a school that, if you are good, you'll roll in money. LA fans are the most fickle fans in America at every sport, at every level. But if you put an LA team on the map, they become world class. I very much remember one of my favorite segments of radio ever. Do you remember, Zoe, the year after Kobe retired, the Lakers sucked and the Clippers were real good?
Yes.
Okay. One of my favorite segments of radio ever was Jim Rome. About halfway through that season, when Rome was on the air going, it's a Clippers town. It's always been a Clippers town. We're all Clips guys out here in LA. We love the Clippers. And he was being sarcastic because, no, it's a Laker town. It's always been a Laker town. But as soon as the Lakers were bad and as soon as the Clippers were good, there wasn't purple and gold to be seen anywhere. It was all black. It was all Clippers. LA fans are fickle. Had Chip Kelly made UCLA good, they would have come out in droves to see the Bruins play. He left because people like Cody Decker, a UCLA alum, were lambasting this guy for getting paid what he was getting paid to be a 500 ball coach. And everybody, oh, Chip Kelly left because it's it's easier to be in a. I mean, maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe also he knew he was about to get canned because he couldn't break the 7-5, 6-6 mark every year. And that's not good enough in Los Angeles, California. Jeff Hafley. Jeff Hafley was the head coach at Boston College. Left to go take a coordinator job in the NFL. And he straight up said, hey, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the portal. I'm tired of NIL. Well, guess what, Jack? That's fine. They got their new guy. There are people who are willing to do it. If you made enough money, if you feel like you put in a good enough effort, if you feel like you have done what you can do and it's just too much for you, that's okay. And I know that comes across as like denigrating. If it's too hard for you, I know that comes across as punching down. It's not meant to. It's not. We have had plenty of people that come here to this studio and they want a producer job and they want to do this and they want to do that. And then they find out just how much work it is. And they find out, yep, you're going to be working until midnight some nights in this office by yourself, in this building by yourself. And you're going to have to give up a bunch of weekends and a bunch of holidays. When you get on the mic, you're not going to get on the mic. There's going to be shows you're going to do where you're just going to sit there and not say anything. And they realize it is a lot more. Lonzo makes it look easy. Okay? Makes it look easy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And so you get guys who show up and they find out, oh, damn, it's not easy. It's a hard job. And they take off. And I've never faulted them. Yeah, it's a hard job. It's much harder than Lonzo makes it look.
I've faulted every single one of them. Every one of them.
It's a hard job that Lonzo makes it look easy. And so when a guy comes in and he finds out just how hard the grind is to do this, and he takes off, I don't go, oh, you're weak, you're a coward, you're not committed. I go, yeah, I get it. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of jobs out there that I can make a lot of money doing. It's not for me. It's not bad. This is what it is. But there's also a lot of guys that will. There's a lot of Lonzos out there that put in a lot of work over the years to get good at this job. There's a lot of folks that are willing to do all of these things and put in the long hours and put in the long days and put in this, that, and the other, the NIL calls, the booster calls, the fundraising calls, and go recruiting, and still yet get back to the office and pick up the tablet and diagram some X's and O's. And if that's not for you, that's okay. It's not. But for the G5 schools, it has always been a problem. This is not new. Forget the $80 to $90 million that the SEC and the Big Ten are getting for television rights distribution. Forget that. Even when that number was half that much, $40 million, you think Liberty was getting $40 million a year? No, it's not new. You show up, you bust it, you become successful, and you get an opportunity to move up, just like those players. Jamie Chadwell did not have to be at Liberty right now. That was his choice. He could have stayed at Coastal Carolina. He could have filled into one of the mid-level FBS programs that had job openings. I bet you right now there's a handful of schools that made head coaching hirings this offseason that would have loved to have Jamie Chadwell come to town. Would have loved to have the guy, but he made the choice to go to Liberty. Don't tell me how tough it is. You wanted to be there. For whatever reason, you decided that school was the right fit for you. It's like the antithesis of Coastal Carolina. You decided to make the switch. Yeah, it's going to be hard. But don't ask me to look at an entire generation of football players in the face and go, hey, I know it's hard work, and I know people are packing stadiums $100K to watch you play, but you can't make money off of that because Jamie Chadwell is sad. In what other world do we do that? There is not one. Nobody's going to tell Jim Rome, hey, you got to give back $5 million a year because Rob Brown's got a mortgage payment to make. He doesn't care. He got where he got. And now it's my job to chase that down. Yes, it's tough to be where you are, Jamie Chadwell. It's tough. But, you knew that going in, my dude. You knew that you had to have known that going in. This cannot have caught you by surprise. And to every coach at that level, whether it's Will Hall or Jamie Chadwell or anybody else, if it's too hard for you, then do something else. I just want to coach football. Okay, that's fine, but that's not all this job entails. I just want to get on the microphone and talk about football, but it's not all this job entails. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes grunt work that has to be done, and it's part of the gig. I would love to just show up, open a mic, talk, have fun, then go home, take a nap. That's not how the game gets played. There is a thankless side to every job out there. This is yours. Yours is you got to help fundraise. It used to be all boosters. Now you got to do NIL stuff too. There is a part of this job that includes shaking babies and kissing hands and begging for money, begging for time, and spreading the good word about your program. Of course. Clay Hendricks at Furman during the football season makes an appearance on this station once a week, every week. You think Clay wakes up on that day and goes, I'm real excited to be on the radio today? No, he's got a football team to coach. He's got X's and O's to do, but he understands that making sure that the good name of FU is in the front of this city's mind, this region's attention span. That's how the game gets played, man. And if you don't want to play that angle of it, then it's not for you, and that's okay. But get out of the way. All right, your thoughts are welcome. 844-326-3663 on the renewal by Anderson at the Carolinas fan phone. Texter says, I'm sure there's a lot of great producers out there, but there's only one Lonzo the Great. Texter said, all these coaches are complaining. Do you think in the future we may see a head coaching position unfilled? No, I don't. So I'll tell you right now, if Jamie Chadwell leaves Liberty and nobody wants that job for $800,000 a year, I'll take it. I'll make some phone calls.
Yeah,
And I have a fun race.
I don't really want to move, but for that, I'm willing to go.
You're damn right. Yeah, I'll call a booster or 1,000 to make that big of a paycheck for sure. Oh, it's a lot of hard work. Yeah, well, you know what else is big? The $800,000 paycheck that comes with it. Yeah, I'll do. No, you'll never see an unfilled head coaching position. We got to take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour 2 after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
What is cracking?
Where are you guys on the stream today, man? It's quiet in here.
Everyone's struggling from those grueling President's Day celebration.
Big President's Day parties out
They
there.
need to move President's Day to Saturday. People can't function on Tuesday.
Do I still get my day off though?
No.
Oh. That's a bummer.
Volumes along 29, 1293, and 276. But again, no unusual problems being reported. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Joyce Nelson on the Fan Upstate.
A tribute to the father of our country. We'll discuss as we take a bite out of history with him. He was the hero of the American Revolution and our first president. George Washington passed away in December.
George Washington, I've heard of
That's
him.
when the first plans were created for a memorial.
Be back in 30 seconds, Stream.
But no formal design was made until 1832. Architect Robert Mills proposed the Egyptian obelisk design that would become the Washington Monument, and on July 4th, 1848, the first cornerstone was laid. The construction was marred in political fights, and funding was taken away and reestablished multiple times during the 1850s. By 1861, at the start of the American Civil War, construction came to a complete halt and stayed that way for the duration of the war. Finally, in 1876, among the patriotism of the American Centennial, Congress granted the money to finish the Washington Monument. It was formally dedicated in February of 1885. It stands 555 feet high, and at the time of its completion, it was the tallest structure in the world. To this day,
Yeah, we're mourning the death of the 3-day weekend, Stephen.
and will stay that way, according to a D.C. law.
I will say the weekend went rather rapidly. The drive home took over 10 hours because Atlanta was standstill traffic. Like park the car in the middle of downtown Atlanta on the interstate standstill.
We work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can
I understand the brain dead, Jacob. I don't appear to have any fight in me today. It's weird.
We take your small business baking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that.
True sign that this bracket is not the most controversial. We finished one whole side.
Of what?
The bracket Saturday,
Oh,
we
yeah.
finished one whole side.
Not a lot of
Nope.
fights.
Never done that. No, because it's sidekicks, and there's just not a. There's going to be some matchups that get, if Barney Rubble goes up against Boo Boo, there's going to be some hands thrown probably.
Hey, boo boo, you're gonna catch this smoke.
Who would you pick between Barney Rubble and Boo Boo?
Barney. I love me some boo boo, but I gotta go Barney.
They're basically the same guy, but one's a bear. Same height, same everything.
I mean, let's be real. Yogi would have been a rug if it wasn't for Boo Boo.
Right.
Fred would have been eaten by multiple dinosaurs per episode if it wasn't for Barney.
That's what I'm saying. They're basically the same character. But
You know what? I'm going to switch my vote. I'm going to say boo-boo. I'll say boo-boo because Fred was at least competent, right? He held down a job. He had a good wife. He was a spectacular bowler.
he's a good father, too.
Good dad. Yogi had zero redeeming qualities. He was an idiot.
Yeah. But the other thing about Barney, though, he made a car go faster.
Just got a cool email. Miles in Spartanburg emailed the show, rob.brown at thefanupstate.com. Miles said, Rob, thanks for bringing the NASCAR documentary series to my attention. It really helped me understand and appreciate Daytona. My father was on a pit crew back in the 50s and drug me to Daytona, but I didn't understand or appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Miles in Spartanburg. Miles, thanks for that email, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Like I said, if you have not watched it yet, it's worth a watch. And especially with the NASCAR season getting underway. I'm watching the Daytona 500 today. I did not get a chance to watch it yesterday. The plan was to watch it on Sunday. It got obviously rained out and moved to yesterday. I was on the drive home from Florida yesterday, so I did not get a chance to watch it. I'll be watching it today, despite knowing who the winner is already. I will be watching it, as a matter of fact, while I host BetMGM tonight this evening. You'll be able to hear me. Dude, I am on the radio in the upstate 8 hours today as I fill in on BetMGM this evening with Ryan Horvat. Looking forward to that greatly. We have a ton of fun when we get together. We'll have the guest appearance from Cody Decker on the show coming up today, as well as a couple of other special guests to get ready for the NFL draft. Anyway, even if you're not a NASCAR guy, it's just a good documentary. It's worth a watch. So good on you, Miles. Glad you got to find your way into that documentary. I think it's a real good one. We got a few more things I want to get to. I want to throw this out there real quick. Rory McIlroy was a leading criticizer of the LIV Tour when it started. And over the past couple of weeks, there has been a noticeable shift in Rory McIlroy. It went from very anti-LIV Tour to, I don't want to talk about it, to, yeah, I think we should have a conversation. Rory threw out a new idea Saturday at the Genesis Invitational. Threw out an idea that would create something that goes above the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour. He said, my goal is, look, I know that there are going to be guys on the LIV Tour and there's going to be guys on the PGA Tour. But I think at the end of the day, the thing that we're all looking for is for the golf world to get together. But one of the founding premises of the LIV Tour, if you believe them, I don't, but if you do, was that they wanted to make golf a global game. They wanted to make it a global game. They wanted it to be played globally by people from all different aspects of the world, all different places on the world. So Rory McIlroy floated the idea of having a Champions League style tournament. You know, in soccer, and European soccer specifically, they have the Champions League, which is the best teams from all these different European leagues form a side league, secondary league, where they find out who's the best of the best out of all the champions. And he said, what if we did that? What if we create a tour for the top 80 players in the world? McIlroy said, I think everything sort of feeds up into that one. You know, the way I look at it, it would be like Champions League in European football. It sort of sits above the rest of the leagues, and then all those leagues sort of feed up into that, and the best play against the best in the Champions League. That's the way I think about it.
Do those guys make more money than the other ones?
You would, because you would still be a PGA guy, or you'd still be a LIV Tour guy, but there would be this separate league that if you're one of the best on the LIV, one of the best on the PGA Tour, and I assume you could genuinely open up to there are other golf leagues around the world. There's a Japanese Pro Tour. You could theoretically open it up to every league ever and go, okay, if you make X amount of dollars, or you have this many top 10 or top 5s or wins on this tour, or you accomplish this on your tour, you're invited to participate in this league, and you can participate in this league as long as you keep meeting those qualifications.
What amount of money would they have to throw out there to for that extra level to make it to where you want to stay there?
Don't know.
Because if you're that guy on the bubble of being sent down, or the guy just right on the edge of moving up, I mean, how much more money would they have to? It would have to be a lot of money.
Not only do I not know the answer to that, I don't know where that money would come from, because the PGA Tour is not likely going to sanction. The Live Tour is probably not going to be. Actually, I'd say the Live Tour might be very happy to be the financial backers of this. The PIF, the PIF, might be very happy to back this whole thing. I don't know. It's one of these things that I really like the idea, like the concept. The problem is you're never going to get me on board with the Live Tour. And the fact that a dude that I was ride or die with in Rory McIlroy, when he was consistently dropping the verbal elbows on the Live Tour at the beginning, to have him be the one that stand up and went this direction, I'm like, all right. So, like, we've lost. The Live Tour is not going anywhere. It's a thing. They can quite literally threaten Americans with 20 years of jail time for talking to their government about the business, and we're just all going to be cool with it. We're just all going to accept it. We're just all going to move on. All right. The Live Tour argument is over. It exists. It's not going anywhere. The PGA Tour, hey, they're going to float a little bit on this $3 billion investment, but to see the guy that was the chief defender of it come out with this idea, man, I don't know. It's just it's a weird spot. I don't want the Live Tour to succeed. That's all it comes down to. And for Rory McIlroy to float an idea where the best Live golfers and the best PGA golfers get together to play a separate tournament, would I watch that? Hell yeah, I'd watch it. But I'd watch it for one simple reason. I want the best of the best playing, which is why I don't want there to be a Live Tour. Just come back, play on the PGA Tour. Let's put all the best golfers in one place instead of splitting them up, especially when one of those two leagues is playing on the CW. Let's take a break.
It's a home for sports, man. CW.
Telling you. So it's like ESPN, FS1, CW. That's your power ranking.
For now.
Power rankings of guys who do sports flashes. There's only one. It's Alonzo.
Look in the parking lot. I'm just saying. Former Carolina running back Mike Davis announced his retirement yesterday. Davis' best season was with the Panthers in 2020 when he rushed 165 times for 642 yards and 6 scores with 59 catches for 373 yards and 2 touchdowns. The former South Carolina Gamecock spent 2 years in Atlanta and 1 unproductive season with Baltimore before announcing his retirement after 8 seasons. He announced it on social media yesterday. The Pac-12 continues its quest to remain a Power 5 conference, announcing the hiring of a new commissioner, Teresa Gold. Gold becomes the first female commissioner of the Power 5 group and has worked within the conference since 2018, as well as interim AD at Cal in 2015-2016. Tune in tomorrow night as Furman men's basketball team takes on Samford right here on The Fan, Upstate. There's someone who parks poorly every day, and I just keep looking out the window to see if Rob's going to run out there and point it out to them because they're still in their vehicle.
Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play and live without the danger and
I don't know, Steven. I don't think I'd ever be Boo Boo or Barney Rubble. They're both too short. I thought maybe you went out there to have a word with her to ask her if she could park better, but you know, at least she's consistent. Same place every
I'll give her
day.
that. That's her spot now, I guess. Is Rob the yogi of radio?
Yes, he's Yogi Berra. He's a Yogi Berra of radio.
Thousands of people like you think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hi, this is Mark Ryan with Offsides. We'll be live at Eagles Markets at 8650 Asheville Highway in Boiling Springs this Wednesday from 3 to 7 p.m. We'll also be giving away a $25 Eagles gift card.
Some people just know bundling with Austin.
I'm sure it was a good movie, Steven. Now it's out on stream. You know, it's a possibility for me to watch eventually. I don't usually watch, you know, real movies anymore. I just like fantasy because I have enough of real world. Smith and James in the first break.
Smith and James in the first break.
W246CD Spartanburg. Always live on the Fantasy app. And check this out. You're on official Rob Brown lockdown. Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Rob only.
Yeah. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The third hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob and the great one, Lonzo, with you here on a lovely upstate Tuesday afternoon. After a nice, long, relaxing 3-day. I think the last 3-day weekend we got for a while, right?
Well, it's not afternoon yet. You just said, I mean, you know, I'm struggling over here, so I know it's not afternoon.
My
President's Day went hard, man. It went so hard.
The old, you know, quarterback's got to have that mental clock, that clock inside the brain. You hear that all the time. You know, his mental clock is just a second slow. Well, that's what they say about me. Mental clock off today. After, let's say I had 10 hours in the car, overnight Friday, Saturday with the fam, real good show on Saturday. Nah, it was not a real good show on Saturday or Sunday. And then 8.5 hours in the car back yesterday. I did not relax my 3-day weekend. It was good. Got to spend time with the family, got to spend time with the friends. There was just a lot. And, we just got to get back in the groove. That's all.
Well, there's a struggle on Mondays because sleep schedule is different on the weekend.
Yes, it is.
And so you got an extra day of that. So it makes Tuesday after a 3-day weekend a little more difficult.
It does. It's dramatically worse. Hey, Texter says, Rob, your boy Corey LaJoy ran a couple first place laps yesterday.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real good. Not as good as you, though, Corey. Corey LaJoy got a P4 yesterday in the Daytona 500. Real glad to see that.
What's a P4?
Position 4. Finished in fourth
Oh,
place.
okay. All right.
Yeah. Picked up the fourth place finish.
Does everyone call that, or do you
I
just
think
call that?
That's like the in-racing jingo.
Ah.
It's like calling a field a pitch. Like I'll do it when I'm talking with other soccer people.
So only knowers of ball or NASCAR would know that. Okay. All right.
Got to be a gearhead.
Okay.
I was very happy. I have not gotten to watch the Daytona 500 yesterday. It upset me greatly that the race got moved to Monday.
Do they have the all 22 cam or whatever that is for that?
You know what? I would pay money for a consistent helicopter shot of the racetrack.
How about a drone shot? I mean,
they have been flying drones over the races. There's some pretty cool shots out of drones over the races. I will say, we talk all the time about gimmicks. NASCAR, I think, has done a very, very, very good job of incorporating new tech, new angles into their races. A couple of years ago, they had the very innovative in-track cam. I still don't know how it works. But they had a camera built into the track that looked back towards where the cars were coming from, and they would just run over this camera, and it was sunk down in the track. It was some combination of, I assume, mirrors and black magic that made it work.
Voodoo, for sure.
I know that there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for it. I just don't know what it is. Like the camera is sunk down into the track, and it looks back towards where the cars are coming from, and you get literally a surface level view of the cars running over you.
Kind of like the hidden cameras in this room.
Yeah, I called it squirrel POV. Because, again, you watch the cars run over you. It's very dope. And then that that's still around. But then you started getting not just the in-car cam, but you got the in-car cam in all four directions. Then you got driver cam, and now you have drone cam. They're flying a drone over these races in race. You get angles you've never gotten before. That's all I'm asking for in every other sport. Just give me angles. Give me different ways to watch the game. I'm a big all 22 cam guy on the NFL Plus. In fact, the only reason I keep paying for NFL Plus is the plus 22 cam. It's nice to have. NASCAR does a good job of that. Texas said, what about those chili commercials? Again, I haven't watched it yet. What did I miss with these Chili's commercials? Do you know what they're talking about?
No, I didn't know.
I don't either. So I'm watching the race when I get home today. I will be, we'll get our clips uploaded after the show is over, headed back to the house, and I am going to catch a power nap because your boy's hosting BetMGM tonight. Hosting BetMGM from 7 to 11 tonight. And somewhere in the middle of that, I will be watching the Daytona 500. And I'm quite excited about it. So I've not seen it. Said Corey LaJoy starred in one. Of course he did. Lonzo, I'm not saying that Corey LaJoy got the Rob Brown bump, but I am saying dude showed up, ended up fourth in the Daytona 500, and is starring in Chili's commercials.
Some things are coincidences. Some things are not.
Yeah. Let's see. Gunther came in here. He is now the longest running Intercontinental champion of all time. Who else? We've had a bunch. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, came on the show. She was AEW Women's World Champions 2 weeks later. I mean, the Rob Brown Show bump is real. And Corey LaJoy, the most recent beneficiary. Well done. All right. I'll be able to talk about those tomorrow. I got to catch up. Anyway, got a bunch more stuff we need to get to on the radio show today. This LeBron James thing. I have zero idea why it's so controversial. During All-Star Weekend, LeBron James got asked, hey, man, where are you in your career? And Bron said, I don't know, but I have fewer seasons remaining than ever before. Which, yes, because that's how, and this is true scientifically, time works. So LeBron says, I don't know if I'm going to do a Kobe Bryant-style farewell tour or if I'm going to do it like Tim Duncan did and just go, I'm out. Bye.
I think the Tim Duncan way is the way to go. The way Kobe did it, then people just will let him score 100 points and stuff like that. And I don't think LeBron wants that. I think his last game played, he wants to be competitive.
Maybe. I don't know LeBron like that, but maybe. Here's what I do know. LeBron's got a brand. He's got a global brand. He's got a brand that I'm sure, and I am not an economist because I'm dumb, but I'd be willing to bet Bron's brand's probably worth $1 billion or better globally. Just his image, just him.
Well, he also has like a movie company and a bunch of stuff like that.
He's got a Hollywood angle to it. He's got his acting career. LeBron's $1 billion brand. So for LeBron to keep himself in the public eye, that's kind of his thing because he can't play basketball forever. And he's going to want to keep that paycheck flowing when he calls it a career. Can't have too much money, right? So for him to create a little conversation is one thing. And I'm going to go ahead and call a shot. LeBron's absolutely doing a farewell tour. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? LeBron's going to be every game he plays his final season is going to be the game that's on national television that night. It's the last time LeBron James will play the Charlotte Hornets. It's like, all right, in any other year, nobody cares. But this year, not this year, but this year being whatever LeBron's last year is, I guess what I'm saying is,
well, will he be a Laker, though?
Oh, yeah, he's not going anywhere.
I don't know. From what I read, there was speculation on that also.
Yeah, there's a lot of other teams that are really kind of hoping they can lure him away. They had the whole thing about the Golden State trade at the trade deadline. Golden State was making a move to try to get Bron up out of L.A. and down to the Dubtown. There's a reason LeBron didn't go there.
Wouldn't it be a nice closing to the story, if you will, if he went back to Cleveland for his final season?
Emotionally, yes, but let's call it what it is. There is no more. The visible organizations in sports are LA in the NBA, Dallas in the NFL, and the Yankees in MLB. There's not a place you can get more visibility than Los Angeles. And so for a guy who is very clearly and obviously working on setting up his post-career career, he's not leaving Los Angeles. Dude has built a monster brand centered around his time in the purple and gold. He's not going anywhere. There will be some teams that try. There will be some teams that make an offer, but he's not leaving LA. So the question mark is, when he calls it a career, does he do a farewell tour or does he just disappear into the sunset? By the sunset, I mean literally on your TV every single day until he dies. I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. He's doing a farewell tour. Here's what I really wanted to get into. I genuinely do not understand how and why people got so mad at these comments over the weekend. He was asked the question. He answered the question. And I don't understand why so many people got so mad about it. Even whether you like LeBron or dislike LeBron, whether you like LeBron off the court or on the court or neither or both, LeBron saying, yeah, I don't know how my career is going to end. How is that a controversial take? Where do you get in your headspace to where a guy says, yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to retire, I'm not there yet, is something that sparked a multi-day social media engagement fest that had people fighting with each other.
It's because the narrative has already been written, all the packages put together. He's already said that he, early on that he wanted to play with his son in the NBA. So everyone has already got all those things in the can ready to go for when LeBron plays. Okay, he's playing with Bronny. This is his last season. And now he's acting like that may not be the case. And now they don't know what to do because they already put in all the work. Now they got to repackage things. I mean, it's annoying when the media narrative has already been written and now he's changing it.
So I'll start with, he's obviously made it no secret that he would like to play a season with his kid. And for the record, does anybody hold that against him? That if his kid is NBA caliber, if his kid was NBA caliber and he's coming to the show, why would he not want to play a year with his kid? It'd be awesome. So for him to kind of ride with that narrative, I don't see how that's a bad thing.
The other thing is, I don't think we've ever seen that in basketball. We've seen it in baseball, but have we seen that in basketball?
Not at the same time. And that, again, because you got to make it 20 years in the league to do that. LeBron's one of the few that's been able to do that. So I don't know why people, this isn't new information. I guess that's kind of what blew me away here was there was no new information provided other than Bron doesn't know how his career is going to end. Wesley says, not saying I agree, but I see the point. He said I don't receive praise well, but he has chosen one tatted across his back. Let's not forget. And again, I'm not saying that's not true or not a good take to have. What I am saying is, let's not forget LeBron was like 19 years old when he got that tattoo. And he got that tattoo because LeBron's high school team was playing on nationally televised ESPN broadcast. It is, to me, subjectively, it's understandable that Bron's head got a little bit big at 18 years of age as a high school senior. In fact, if I recall correctly, Oak Hill Academy had national games when he was a junior because they all knew he was going to be something special. So it shocks me exactly and precisely 0% that a guy that was having ESPN change its national broadcasting lineup to put on his high school basketball team on primetime TV got a little bit big in the head.
And I'm not positive, but I believe he might have been the first one that they did that for.
I don't know if he was the first one.
Because I don't remember anyone before that.
I don't either. I don't know if he was the first one, but I do know he was the most standout one. He's the only one I know of that ESPN was knocking NBA games to show him play high school ball because he's that guy. So no, it doesn't really shock me all that much that LeBron as an 18-year-old kid got a little big-headed. Why wouldn't he? He got tattooed at Chosen One on his back because you literally had ESPN Sports Center anchors calling him the Chosen One. They bestowed the King James moniker on him. It was at Oak Hill. Where did LeBron play? Lonzo, you should know this. You're an Ohio guy.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. And once you say the name, I'll be like, yeah.
St. Vincent, St. Mary? Is that it?
I believe so. That sounds right.
Yeah, St. Vincent, St. Mary. Who played at Oak Hill? Now I got to look that up. Carmelo. That's who it was.
Yeah, because they're very similar in their career path. Yeah.
Carmelo, Rajon Rondo, Josh Smith, Ron Mercer, Jerry Stackhouse.
So is this Oak Hill? Is this in
this is Oak Hill Academy.
Where's that
what
at?
A list.
Where's that at though?
Cam Thomas, Caleb Martin. Oak Hill Academy is in. Hold, please. I found it. Don't worry. It's in Oak Hill.
I mean, what state?
Looks like Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. 140 students, and yet they're producing NBA players like left and right. All right, point here is.
And all those guys were born and raised right around that area.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't move there for that reason.
For sure. Very fertile NBA breeding grounds in Virginia.
There ain't nothing else to do. And you know, that never happens around here or anywhere else. People don't just move into area. Anyway.
Thank you for the correction, James. Good call. Appreciate you being ombudsman for the show. So, I think that it is a bit ridiculous that this became as big of a story as it did. That LeBron had the sheer audacity to say, I don't know how my career ends. I don't know if I'm going to do a retirement tour. I don't know if I'm just going to walk it off and Tim Duncan it and see y'all later. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. And why was that a fight? Why was that something that took over the attention of the nation for a day?
Well, they couldn't talk about the All-Star game. They had to find something to talk about.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Let's see. Texture says, Rob, people on social media are prepared to kill each other over cute pictures of animals. Of course, they're ready to fight. All right, that's actually also very fair. Some of y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to calm down.
What do you mean some? There's a lot.
Everybody needs to calm down.
There you go. There's a lot more than some.
Everybody. Collectively. You may not like him, and that's okay, but LeBron James is the most visible NBA player in history. I didn't say good. I didn't say most talented. I said he's the most visible NBA player in history. So, yes, people are going to talk about him. People are going to be intrigued as to how his career ends, especially if it ends with the Lakers being bad. Lakers are a play-in team at best right now. And if that's how it ends, yeah, it's going to be a story for a very long time. Texas said, Robbie had a 2-hour special on his decision to go to Miami. You don't think he's going to decide to have a farewell tour? No, I've already said, I absolutely think he's going on a farewell tour. Without a doubt, he's going on a farewell tour. It's an opportunity for him to build the brand. Of course he's going on a farewell tour. That wasn't the question. The question for me was, now, if you want to call him out because he says, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, when we all know good and darn well he's going on a farewell tour, that's more logical. I did not understand how my Twitter was a LeBron James fist fight because he said, I don't know if I'm just going to walk it off or say goodbye to every team on the road in a farewell. Why are we fighting about this? Is he that polarizing of a person that we're just going to dunk on him no matter what he does? I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Think of how hard it would be to play when every place you play for the final time has a package, a video package for you. I mean, that would get old after a while, watching how good you are up on a screen and how every place you go to is going to miss you. Who would want that?
That's fair. That's fair. Only a guy who's like trying to make it as a Hollywood movie star or something like that would be on board for that. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in a minute, got a few more things I want to, a few more things. We got an hour and 40 minutes. We got plenty of stuff to get into, including Rick Pitino going scorched earth on the school that he is currently employed by. This is pretty spectacular, and it involves a number of those. Say about that more when we come back. Rob Alonso and you and the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate.
Smith.
All right, guys, quick live reading. We're coming right back. Please don't go anywhere. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Earlier in the show, if you missed it, on Saturday, I got to go watch my 6-year-old nephew play basketball. And I'm not going to lie, it got me a wee bit frustrated. But not frustrated enough that I would take down everything, including my own nephew. Okay? Wouldn't dare. Wouldn't do that. Rick Pitino would. Rick Pitino is currently the head coach at St. John's University. Of course, if you've followed college basketball for any length of time, you know that old Ricky P has had a rocky go of it over the years.
Including tables in restaurants and women and stuff, if I recall. Yeah.
That is correct. He also was investigated and sanctioned back at Hawaii in 1976. In case you wondered how long old Rick Pitino's been in the game. He was at Kentucky and then left Kentucky. He was at Louisville, left Louisville, where he took a self-imposed postseason ban because of his scandal at the Italian restaurant. You remember all the stories about Rick Pitino. They are, to me, objectively hilarious. But maybe that's just me. Anyway, the longtime basketball coach led his Red Storm to another L, a 68-62 decision at UBS Arena, where they blew a 19-point lead, shot less than 34% from the field, committed 15 turnovers. It is St. John's third straight loss. It is their 8th loss in their last 10 games. Rick Pitino opened his post-game press conference by saying, quote, "This is the most unenjoyable experience of my lifetime," end quote. Now, that might not bother me all that much because, yeah, the dude has been, forget the off-the-court stuff, on the court has been a coaching legend for sure.
He's like, what, 75 or something like that?
He's advanced. Can we go with advanced? I think advanced.
I think we all get a little bit crankier as we get older.
He is 71 years old. But that was not all he said. Pitino decided he was going to take down everybody. He was going to take down everybody. He took down the school. He said, quote, "Do we have facilities? Yes, we do. But we're doing something about that, but that's not the reason we're losing. Having facilities has nothing to do with guarding," end quote. Then he decided he was going to take down his players. Check out these quotes. He said, "Joel Soriano is slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris Ledlam, slow laterally. Sean Conway, slow laterally. Brady Dunlap, physically weak. Drissa Traore, slow laterally. We've kind of lost this season with the way we recruited. We recruited the antithesis of the way I coach. It's a good group. They try hard, but they're just not very tough. It's not the job. You could be at Missouri and recruit slow players. Believe me, it's not St. John's. We had to put together a team the last second. We will never, ever do that again."
Okay, why all that? What happened? Why did you recruit against the way you play? That sounds like a you problem.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Now, he was asked about those comments afterwards, and he said that he was, quote, "fine with what I said," end quote. Said I wasn't, quote, "truly ripping anybody." Quote, "I was pointing out exactly in a monotone voice why we lost. I am not always calm and certainly not when I rip someone. I was not ripping anybody. I sometimes want my players to hear my words and read my words. That was my intention." You know, I got to tell you, there is absolutely a time and a place for a coach to look his players in the face and challenge them a little bit. Any of us who have had a good coach have been challenged personally at some point. Would you say that's fair?
I was going to say some bad coaches have challenged me pretty good too.
Sure.
But yeah.
Good coaches can challenge you, but there's a difference to me between challenging a guy and railroading a cat. When you not to the guy's face, but when you two in the media say that a dude is, quote, physically weak, when you say that a college basketball player is, quote, slow laterally, not fast on the court, Rick, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? This is your team, guy. This is your team. This is the team that, as Lonzo pointed out, you put together. This is what you put. Now, in fairness, Rick Pitino took off last offseason. But still, you put this team together. I cannot comprehend how it is that a year ago you got hired. You've been through you're going through the season, your first season on the job. You had the entire off season, and the team that you put together stinks, and you're going to call them out like this in the media? What is this? I read these comments yesterday. Hilariously enough, Lonzo, at the Buc-ee's. We made a Buc-ee's stop on the way home yesterday. Because Lane Kiffin says Buc-ee's is life.
How was the upscale yard sale?
It was great. It was great. It was my drummer's first time at a Buc-ee's. He was blown away.
I'm sure he was changed for life.
He was.
He's in Charlotte today going, can I just go back again? Yeah. It's, oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Beaver. I worship the Beaver.
We're going back down in, what is it, Memorial Day? We're going down for 3 shows in Memorial Day weekend, and we've already got the Buc-ee's scheduled stops.
Did you buy banana pudding?
I did not. We did the barbecue sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we went full on pour.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that one
on pour?
Does that one have also the on your way out job listings and how much you can make working
Sure
there?
do. And let's just say that both of us could quit and become gas station managers.
Isn't that very annoying? That's just very, very annoying. Yes.
It's not. It's a big gas station.
Well, it's annoying if you're going, yeah, that job makes more than me. That job makes more than me. Wow.
Dramatically.
Yeah. I too could work at the yard sale and make more money than I would.
It's a big job. Big job. Big job. A lot of pressure. Buc-ee's got to be perfect. A lot of pressure.
A lot of rednecks. Got to know how to deal with them when they come in.
I'm standing at the gas pump in the midst of my 8-hour drive home.
Wait a minute. They don't have full serve at Buc-ee's?
They don't. I kept waiting for somebody to come out and pump my gas for me.
It's in a beaver costume.
Nobody in the South has full service gas stations.
Yeah, you got to go to New Jersey for that.
Right. We never have. So I'm standing at the gas pump. Drummer goes inside to grab some water or whatever. And I'm like scrolling down through all of the stories, getting ready for today's show. And as I do, I see Rick Pitino. I'm like, what did Rick do? Every time Rick Pitino's name pops up, I'm hoping something really cool happened. Rick Pitino busted getting it on under an Italian restaurant table. Like, give me another Rick Pitino scandal. They're always phenomenal. Nope. Rick Pitino said, my school is, my gym is, my players are, this season is. Pretty spectacular. Pretty spectacular. I'm gonna be real honest with you here, Zoe. I don't have a take on this. I don't have something that I want to hammer down on this with. I just needed all of you to know that Rick Pitino straight up said, my gym, my team, my school, my players are all.
He still has a job today, right?
Yeah, they can't get rid of him.
Well, I mean, okay.
They can't get rid of him.
Has the team played again since he did all that stuff?
No, this was after Saturday's game.
Because I'm curious if suddenly they come out motivated and they play above their level and say, screw you, coach, here's what we can do. And then suddenly what he did was, worked.
St. John's, let's see. In fact, I'll go ahead. Let's see when their next game is. Because I'm going to be straight up. I'm about to watch a St. John's Red Storm game. Usually St. John's is the team that pops up the last, week of the sketty. Going into March. They're either a bubble team or they're in. St. John's plays at Georgetown tomorrow night. I have to watch this game. I have to watch this game. I have to know if St. John's players are either going to come out and punch the Hoyas in the face or punch their own head coach in the face. Are they going to come out like on fire because Rick Pitino said, hey, number 2, you suck. Number 8, you suck. Number 22, you suck. Number 45, you suck. Number 63, you suck. Or are they going to go tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this evening's basketball contest between the St. John's Red Storm and the Georgetown Hoyas has been canceled because the St. John's Red Storm left Rick Pitino bleeding outside of the locker room after they beat his ass.
I thought you were going to say because of lack of lateral movement.
They were too slow to make it to the court. Rick, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Like, I mean, I guess on one hand, it's kind of tough to criticize Rick Pitino and how he coaches. On the other hand, it's real easy to criticize Rick Pitino and the way he coaches. How is that, man? How is that? All right. Speaking of basketball, not a great couple of games for the Gamecocks. Jump all the way up to number 11 in the rankings and then give a couple back. I told you that LSU game was not going to be easy. I told you that LSU game was not a guaranteed win. Not a guaranteed win for the Gamecocks. What happened? We'll talk about that and more. My name is Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo on the ones and the twos. 844-326-3663. That is the phone number for the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone. Text is 71307. Start your text with fam. We'll read them on the air. Texter says, I got 5 units on Georgetown to wax that. That's not a bad bet, honestly. Not a bad bet. James said they only had enough team speed to beat up a 71-year-old man. Yeah, he might catch hands in that locker room. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Hot stirring up in here.
All right, guys, excuse me for 45 seconds. Be right back. Thanks for hanging in there, y'all.
The all-new 2024 Upstate Craft Beer Passport is here for just $40 at upstatecraftbeerpassport.com. 20 breweries and 2 bonus stops with free tastings and tours. Breweries include Thomas Creek Brewing and Voodoo Brewing Company. Visit upstatebeerpassport.com.
Purchase 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 O'Reilly gift card after rebate. See store for details. With your Mobil 1 purchase, you'll also receive 2 times points during All Rewards Bonus Points Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card. It's gotta be somewhere. Maybe she lost it at Salsa. He searched at Salsa's. Or maybe she lost it at Pilates. But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Budgets and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
My friends and I are taking a trip to
So yesterday was really weird because there was no football on, and it was really weird.
First few weeks of the offseason are in adjustment.
Did laundry. Right around 1 o'clock, I was thinking there's something I should be doing. Oh yeah, there's nothing I should be doing. Now I may actually have to start doing other work.
But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Ingalls Market Studio,
Upstate. 97.7 FM Green.
You're right, Steven. You're absolutely right.
The Rob Brown Show carries on. It is the Fan Upstate. South Carolina drops a decision to the Tigers of LSU. The Bayou Bengals get the better of the Gamecocks. The Gamecocks, of course, made it up to number 11 in the rankings and then have dropped a couple since then. 64-63 is your final. I will say a couple of things first about the overall scope of the game. Number one, to the texter that said, quote, those refs completely us in the end of that basketball game. Terrible. Jump ball call. This was, I will 100% agree, this was a very poorly officiated Southeastern Conference basketball matchup. It very much was. LSU was playing, by the way, a 1 game over 500 LSU team, was playing stupid aggressive basketball and finished the second half with 2 fouls. I cannot understand that. I don't get it. But I will also say the decision-making late in that game was just was not good. But let me give you what really kind of bugged me. Colin Murray-Boyles, who has been very good, 14 shots. BJ Mack, 13 shots. You ended up with, what? You had Zach Davis had 3. Cooper had 8. You had a combined 20 shots off the bench between Greg Clark, Wright, Studi, the rest. Michi Johnson played 27 minutes. He was 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 1 for 3, 0 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks, and 0 points scored. That's not good enough. I understand that you want Michi Johnson to be as much a facilitator as a scorer. But I think this team got away from its identity. I think this team got away from a team that needs Michi Johnson to be a scorer. I need Michi Johnson lifting threes. I can't have him end the game 0 for 1 from deep. I can't have a game where BJ Mack lifts up more threes than Michi Johnson's. It can't happen. I like BJ Mack a lot. 8 of 13, 1 of 3 from deep, 1 of 1 from the stripe, 9 boards, 3 assists, 18 points. Led all scorers did BJ Mack. I like BJ Mack. But I can't have a game where BJ Mack is lifting up more trays than Michi. Can't happen. It can't. And it's not like BJ Mack is a natural three-point shooter. His shot does not look good. I mean, I'm never going to fault a baller for taking an open look at three if you're unguarded. If you're a 30% shooter, a 25% shooter, but you're unguarded, fire. Have at. But I cannot have a world where BJ Mack's taking more threes than Michi Johnson. It can't happen. I can't have a game where Michi Johnson has 4 shots. And if he does have 4 shots, I need my dude to have like 12 assists in that game. I need 10, 11, 12 assists if he's going to have 4 shots. Sometimes you have got to recognize that your leading scorer's got to have the ball. Your best player's just got to be given shot. You have got to create for him. I appreciate, respect, commend what BJ Mack has been to this team. This team can't win without BJ Mack. But that does not mean you run the offense through him. I can't have a game where he's lifting 13, including 3 threes, while Michi's listing 4 and 1 3. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. The decision-making, yes, you got screwed by officiating. And if you followed this show, you know I, especially in basketball, am very hesitant to blame an L on the stripes. Very hesitant to blame an L on the whistles. You got screwed. The officiating was bad. But guys, if you looked at this team and you thought the decision-making down the stretch in a tight game wasn't part of the problem, I need to talk ball with you because it was. What has been my number one concern about this team? Mentality. It's not talent. We've seen the talent. The team that went to Tennessee, grabbed the lead and never relinquished, that team's got tournament talent. The team that let Kentucky come to the house and whooped them, that team's got talent. The talent is not the question for this basketball team. It's the mentality. It's the composure, frankly. And when you are getting waxed, hosed by the whistles late in the game, that's where I need you to be more mentally composed, not less. This team fell apart down the stretch. This team still could have. I would even go one step further and say this team should have won this basketball game. You're still in a good spot. You're still 21-5. You're 9-4 in conference. You're going dancing. All that's a statement of fact. But when the stripes are making it 8-on-5, I need you to be more dialed in, not less. That was bad. And the reality is what happened in the first half created a situation where the whistles could be a difference maker in the second half. There's no world in which BJ Mack should have 9 additional field goals over Michi. If those two have an equal number of jump shots, I'm good with it. BJ's going to get a bunch of rebounds and putbacks for sure. I cannot have an offense that does not involve Michi. You can't have it. You can't win without it. I know that it's frustrating. I know that, especially on a night where he's cold. My man went over. He had an 0 for night. How many 0 for nights can you have? Not many. I'll say this. You're lucky you dropped to 20. You could have and maybe even should have dropped out. 24, 25, maybe outside the top 25. What I really hope, and this is the frustrating part, I hope that this was the lesson, right? We talked about the L last week because it wasn't the loss to Auburn. It was a loss by 40 to Auburn. And Lonzo said, aptly, you really hope this is a one-off, right? You really hope this is a one-off. You really hope that this is something that we look back at and go, hey, you had a bad night, because bad nights happen to everybody. You hope they just had a bad night. That was the same team. That was the same team, and you played a very pedestrian LSU squad, a very average LSU team. That was the same team that got beat by 40. Turns out it wasn't a one-off. Now, my question is, can it be fixed? If you're real bad at the pick and roll offense, I can work on that. If you're real bad at the triangle, I can work on that. If you're having a bad night shooting the rock, hey, it happens. You're getting the shots up. They're just not falling. It's the law of averages. It's going to come back. It's hard to fix mentality. It's hard to fix when the gray matter's sideways. It's hard to fix that. And frankly, I don't know what the path forward is for Lamont Paris to get that right. Here's the good news. Good news is this season is already past the expectations. You were picked to finish last in the conference. You're going dancing and inside the top 3, top 4 in the conference. But you've got there, don't you want more? And the rough spot during, by the way, the toughest part of the schedule can be fixed, but it's all about mentality. Speaking of mentality, you know who has a champion's mentality? Never an off day, never a bad sports flash? Lonzo.
Wow. Man, you just jinxed me if I believed in that, but I don't. Rain in the area forced the Daytona 500 to be run yesterday, and it turned out to be a very good Monday for race winner William Byron, becoming the first Hendrick Motorsports winner in Daytona in 9 years. A 26-year-old Charlotte native won Hendrick's 9th 500, tying them with Richard Petty Enterprises. Byron started his career racing virtually, so he played video games. Byron was first crossing the white flag when a caution was thrown, ending the race and securing the win. The number 15 UConn women's basketball team knocked off number 21 Creighton 73-53, giving head coach Gino Auriemma his 1,203rd victory and securing him a spot above Mike Krzyzewski on the all-time wins list. Tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as the Furman men's Spouted basketball team takes on Sanford right here on The Fan. All right, maybe I do believe in jinxes. I will not pass that on to him. Stephen. Not mean to do that.
Sick and tired of aching joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Charlie James. The state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only option. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives. Innovative non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. Greenville and Asheville.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles without a warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now.
Dang, Steven. Shots fired.
Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-973-7809 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-973-7809. That's 800-973-7809. What do you have?
All right, Wesley, we'll kill a segment off for you till you're back. Let us know when you're back. We'll start the show back up. Have you seen this? PFL and Bellator are doing a Champs v. Champs card. I don't watch either of those leagues. I would tune in for that.
And it's on in the middle of the day Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can have that on while you're doing
Yeah.
your thing.
I might tune in for that. I couldn't tell you who the champs in either league are right now.
Oh, no, there's
But you know
crossover.
if
There's some UFC guys that are over in some of that. So,
Like former UFC
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final hour of the Rob Brown Show starts now. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in, my friends. It is spectacular to have you back on a Tuesday morning. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, on the ones and twos this AM. You want to be a part of the show? Now's a great time to do it. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas phone line is there at 844-326-3663.
America.
Thanks, Jim. The text line is open at 71307, 71307.
They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots.
Start your text with FAN FAN. We'll read them on the air. FAN FAN. We'll read them on the air. Can tweet X post us on X, formerly known as Twitter, which, by the way, I'm tired of that. Okay? Just start calling it X. Even I'm on board now. I'm happy to call it X if we can stop calling it X, formerly known as Twitter, on everything. It's been
Big
X.
Daddy, how you doing?
It's been X for like a year now, right?
has it been a year?
I think it's been like a year. It's been X. All right. The blue bird has not been on my phone in a very long time. It's just X now. We can all move on together. However you feel about it, or just call it Twitter. But please stop calling it X, formerly known as Twitter. I've read it. I read a post yesterday, an article yesterday, that 3 times in the article it said X, formerly known as Twitter. Either that or let's just name it X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I read that a lot in print media. It's like, okay, thank you, because man, I was going to get confused if you just said it was on X,
formerly known as Twitter. You have to say the whole thing now, I think. All right, let's get back to it. James said, still Twitter to me, damn it. Yeah, I get it. All right, a couple other things I wanted to get to on the radio broadcast today. The Mike Trout is a player for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He is one of the biggest and best baseball players of all time. The dude's maybe got the most pure swing in baseball. Mike Trout is a guy that I kind of feel bad for, but also I kind of don't. Mike Trout's been with the Angels for a very long time and has accomplished exactly and precisely nothing during his time there. He and Shohei Ohtani were responsible for, if memory serves me correctly, 0 playoff series wins during their time together. Now, I'm going to say that's on the Angels. I don't care how bad you are. When you have the greatest hitter and the greatest all-around baseball player of all time on your roster, you should luck into a playoff series win or two. You should backdoor your way into winning a series or two, and they couldn't do it. Mike Trout spoke to the media about his future with LA yesterday. He said, quote, "The easy way out is just ask for a trade. There might be a time, maybe, I really haven't thought about this, but when I sign that contract, I'm loyal. I want to win a championship here. The overall picture of winning a championship or getting to the playoffs is a bigger satisfaction than bailing out and just taking an easy way out." So I think that's been my mindset. Maybe down the road if something's changed, but that's been my mindset ever since the trade speculation came up. Let me say this. I respect that immensely. I respect it a lot. I, too, am a loyalty guy. I stayed with one station for years after I reasonably should have left because I was appreciative of how much they did for me. I'm loyal to a fault. So I get this out of Mike Trout. But, and I learned this lesson a couple of times in some not so fun ways. Loyalty must be a two-way street. If you are loyal to someone who is not loyal to you back, you are not loyal, you are a chump. There's a difference. And nobody wants to be a chump. You ever met that dude that, like, his wife cheats on him like 4, 5, 6 times and he keeps going back to her? Don't we all make fun of that guy for being a chump? Yeah, we do. We do. We shouldn't. We should be supportive. You know, be a good neighbor, like Mr. Rogers said. But he's a chump. And sometimes you just got to grab a dude by the collar and go, "Hey, stop being a chump. You're being a chump. Nobody likes a chump. Don't be a chump." I kind of am ready to have that moment with Mike Trout. You're being a chump, man. You should be going down as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. You should be going down as one of the most remarkable hitters that any of us have ever seen. And instead, you're working on going down as the greatest player to never win a ring. It's one thing to have a conversation about the greatest blank that never won a championship. Point guard, NBAer, quarterback, whatever. That's one thing. You're about to go down as the greatest player to never win a playoff series, a whole series. What is this, Mike? How is it that after this long, you're still committed to a team that has done exactly and precisely nothing to advance your career? What loyalty has LA given to you? They signed you to a big contract, absolutely. And straight up, I have no doubt that for some athletes, hell, Nikola Jokic might be one of them. For some athletes, getting the bag is more important than getting a ring. It is what it is. Everybody's got their priorities. For some athletes, getting paid is more important than winning rings. And I don't fault them for it. That's fine. That's your priority. Do I think you're going to be able to be the best player you could be? I don't know. Like I said, to me, Anthony Rendon is a no. He said baseball's not my priority. It's just a job. Do I think Rendon has generational talent that he can be like Nikola Jokic? No. Nikola Jokic is a guy that I don't think particularly loves basketball. It just happens to be that he was genetically created off planet to be perfect at it. And that's just the lot he has in life. But regardless of where the mentality is, Mike, how long are you going to toil away on a baseball team that very clearly does not care? Artie Moreno is in this solely and exclusively to get paid. There's two kinds of owners at the professional level. There's the owner who cares about winning, and then there's the owner who bought a team to have a toy and an investment and nothing else. I got a lot of faults with Jerry Jones. One thing I'll never fault Jerry Jones for, I genuinely believe Jerry Jones wants to win. I think every year that the Cowboys do what the Cowboys did this year, it kills Jerry Jones a little more on the inside. I'm also sure he's a Highlander, so I don't think it matters. But every year the Cowboys cowboy, I think it eats JJ up a little bit because I think he wants to win. I don't think Artie Moreno cares about winning. I think Artie Moreno is perfectly happy to have a brand. I've said this about my own owner, Gail Benson of the Saints. I don't particularly think Gail Benson cares about winning. I think she cares about having status in New Orleans high society. And that's why she still owns the team. I think Artie Moreno cares about being a recognizable face in Los Angeles, and I think he cares about the investment. And that is why this is that frustrating to me. Let's go one step further in the interview. Trout said he wants to win and said that he has been pushing owner Artie Moreno and team president John Carpino to spend money and sign some free agents still on the market. He said, quote, "This offseason, I was in contact with both of them, just pushing. There's still some guys out there that can make this team a lot better. I am going to keep pushing as long as I can until the season starts or until those guys sign. It's just in my nature. I'm doing everything I can possible. It's obviously Artie's decision. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in there." When one of the reporters assembled asked Trout whether Moreno would listen to him and approve the signing of some impact players, Trout said, quote, it's yeah, no, you know how Artie is. Or in other words,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest.
That's it. That's it. How Mike Trout, a guy that could, frankly, should be a generational athlete. We should be talking about Mike Trout the way that we talk about Ronald Acuna Jr. We should be talking about Mike Trout the way we talk about Shohei Ohtani. We should be talking about Mike Trout the way that we are talking about maybe no other players on the face of the planet right now. We should be talking about those guys, about that guy. And instead, what are we talking about? We are talking about a guy that is letting an owner waste his career in for what? The only reason I bring this up is, and I don't say this very often, because it makes me sad. It makes me sad for Mike Trout. It makes me sad for LA Angels fans. It makes me sad for American baseball fans. Now, if Mike Trout is genuinely happy, like if he is truly, truly happy right now where he is, if he is truly happy getting paid, if he is truly happy making that money in LA, that's one thing. But I don't think he is. And I think he's hit the point in his career where he could straight up come out and say, hey, I'm good making $100 million a year. I don't care if I win. And I think a lot of us would probably be disappointed in that, because I think Mike Trout should go down as one of the greatest baseball players I've ever gotten the opportunity to watch play. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying, I want to win. I want to win here. I want to win playoff games. I want this. I want that. I want this. And he says, I have been pushing Artie Moreno to sign these names. Guys like Cody Bellinger are still out there. There are still big names because there's no free agency deadline in Major League Baseball. You can sign these cats right up till opening day. Blake Snell is still out there. I don't care who Blake Snell signs for. Whoever signs Blake Snell is a better baseball team that day. And it's not the LA Angels. There comes a point where I've got to look at somebody like Mike Trout and go, dude, I love you. I'm pulling for you. You're one of the greatest athletes of this generation. You should be going down as one of the greatest athletes of this generation. You should be going down as a guy that 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, when Lonzo and I go from two dudes screaming in a room at each other to two old guys screaming in a room at each other, I should be able to look at my bunkmate in the retirement home and go, oh, Mike Trout, these kids these days, they don't understand how good Mike Trout was. And instead, all I get to say about Mike Trout is, you look like a chump. You look like a whole entire chump. That's what you look like. You look like a bona fide grade A premium chump. And that sucks. That sucks. That a guy that could be a GOAT, or at least in the GOAT conversation from the dish, looks like a chump, because the owner cares more about the investment than the success of the team. Imagine being an Angels fan. Imagine living in a world that for years you had Mike Trout and you had Shohei Ohtani on the same team, and Shohei couldn't get up at, not only could Shohei Ohtani not get out of LA fast enough, where's he playing now? Oh, LA! He literally went next door. It's one thing if your supermodel wife leaves you. It's another thing when she leaves you for the next door neighbor. All because you didn't fix the things in the relationship that you could have fixed. You didn't do the little things that you could have done, and she went, yeah, I'm going next door. Bob next door has got a Lamborghini. I'm gonna go, bow chicka bow bow with him instead of you. And now Mike Trout is stuck looking like an absolute chump in LA for exactly and precisely zero reasons. It's sad. All right, that segment was just for me. We got to take a break. Come back. We got a couple of them left. Got a few more things I want to get into. We got what the X is going on to wrap up. It's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show. It's all coming up on the Fan Upstate. Joey B, I would say yes and no to your Archie Manning take. When Archie was with New Orleans in the 1920s, that team did not have the resources that Artie Moreno and the LA Angels have. LA has every opportunity to be a dominant team, like a dominant team. The Saints did not back in the day. But I respect the loyalty. I appreciate the loyalty. I get it. But man, like, if you're loyal to your girl when she cheats on you the 6th or 7th time, you're not loyal. You're a chump. And that's just where he is. He just looks like a chump.
I'm Mark Ryan.
Offsides with Mark Ryan, 3 to 7 p.m. today on the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Eagles Markets is a proud sponsor of the Mark Ryan Sports Spin. From the playing field to the stands to your own living room, Eagles Markets has everything you need to fuel your athlete or satisfy all the hungry fans in your life. Eagles, low prices, love the savings. Hi, this is Mark Ryan with Offsides. We'll be live at Eagles Markets at 8650 Asheville Highway.
The cat finally caught some mice. They're baby ones, but she's got to work her way up. You know,
Got to learn to catch the dumb ones before you can catch the smart ones.
she knocked some tenths off of her time. She was able to catch some of the fast baby ones. Now she's got to move up. So we'll keep her around a little bit longer. Must have caught wind that she was, on her chopping block.
Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
During Staples Zip-a-thon, you can save up to $180 on select chairs, desk chairs, computer chairs, even gaming chairs. In-store only. Offer ends 3/2. See associates for details. Stop by Staples today and grab a seat.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel it. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items, exclusions apply.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind. The new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Take control of your listening experience with Rewind on the Odyssey app. Missed a jaw-dropping moment? No worries.
The Odyssey app makes it easy.
With Rewind, you can relive big moments from Mark Ryan, Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and more. Don't miss a beat. Just hit Rewind with the Odyssey app on the Fan Upstate. Saturday, sports fans. That's straight.
You've heard the expression that history repeats itself, right? You've heard the expression that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome in the Texas Longhorns to this next conversation. The Texas Longhorns Board of Regents is meeting this week, and they are expected to give Steve Sarkisian. Lonzo? No, I don't. Listen, you're on the stream in front of the eyes of America. Do not do the horns sign. We're better than that.
I was going to adjust my camera, and then I changed my mind.
There may be children watching this stream, man. At Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, and by searching and subscribing to The Fan Upstate on YouTube or The Rob Brown Show on Twitch. There might be kids watching, and you're over there putting up that vulgar, disgusting hand sign. The down sign. Unbelievable. Steve Sarkisian, if we get canceled because of that, all right? If we get canceled because you keep going horns, I'll never forgive you.
Yeah, that'll be the reason for sure.
Steve Sarkisian is about to get a new fat stat contract that is expected to begin with a $10 million a year payment that goes up by $100,000 every year. Payable, by the way, in case you were curious. You weren't, but you are now. Payable to Steve Sarkisian's incorporated company that represents him, known, Lonzo, as Sark Enterprises.
Nice. Very well done.
Part of me wants to hate on it. Part of me kind of loves it. Sark Enterprises will receive like a lot of money. January 1st through December 31st of 2024, 10.3 mil. Next year, 10.4. Next year, 10.5, all the way up to $10.9 million and going up. It will make Steve Sarkisian one of the highest paid coaches in college football. Here's my question. This team finished number 3 in the nation in the college football playoff. $10 million a year for Steve Sarkisian? $10 million for a guy, yeah, he got you to the playoffs. He got you to the Final Four, but, he did it once. $10 million to Sark Enterprises? Is anybody else getting Jimbo Fisher vibes off of this but me? Jimbo Fisher brought the Aggies to number 5 in the country. They signed him to a $50 billion contract. Hey, Lonzo, who's Jimbo Fisher coaching right now?
That would be no one, Rob.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. Listen, I don't care. It's your money. It's your money. I see people pay for dumb things on the internet all the time. It's your money. Use it how you want it. I think you're being silly, Texas. This guy went to a playoff game. He's gone to a playoff. One playoff game. You're dumping $10 million a year on this cat. By the way, you wonder why when we had the conversation about Liberty and Southern Miss earlier? This is why they'll never compete. This is it. Because this school, granted, a well-known, nationally known brand, went to a single playoff game and is about to fork over $10 million a year every year to their head coach for one playoff game. A game they lost, by the way, in case you were keeping track. 0-1 in the playoffs is Sark. $10 million. That's ridiculous, dude. But good luck. Good luck, Texas. College football playoff, according to at least one member of the College Football Playoff Management Committee, has not agreed to a new television contract. In a memo sent to league administrators, MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher described reports of the CFP agreeing to or having concluded an extension of the media rights deal with ESPN as, quote, incorrect.
Wait, we've got no action?
This is for the playoff games, of which I assume there will not be any MAC teams competing anytime soon.
You never know.
Steinbrecher is the longest-serving member of the 11-person management committee who often chairs the committee's meetings. He told administrators that commissioners and their corresponding presidents on the CFP Board of Managers have not reviewed a draft of a new potential deal. Yahoo Sports obtained a copy of the email through an open records request. It says, quote, several news outlets are reporting that a new 6-year television deal has been concluded for the college football playoff. Be advised, these reports are incorrect. Neither the management committee nor the board of managers have reviewed a draft agreement, nor has any vote been taken so far. So perchance, we jumped the gun. 6 weeks ago, ESPN reported that ESPN was in the midst of negotiations with the CFP to remain its exclusive rights holder, with the parties negotiating a 6-year extension through 2031 that was expected to be worth upwards of $1.3 billion with a B dollars. Earlier this week, early last week, The Athletic reported the same terms as ESPN's original report, and they published a story that the CFP and ESPN had agreed to the deal, noting the unfinished business lingering around the future structure of the playoff. Now, the board is saying that that is not the case, or at least one member of the board is saying that that is not the case, that they have not agreed on a deal. And my question here is, do we have a WWE moment here? Was this something that they had agreed in principle and there was a backlash? Or was it the outlet involved in signing the deal reported early because they thought the deal was done and they wanted to get out ahead of it, and it wasn't? For the record, one of those I'm very happy with, one I hate. If this is a backlash moment, if this is a finish the story moment, a we don't want Dwayne moment, whoa, 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 then that's good news, because it will mean that the CFP listened to the people. Now, I will acknowledge that the people in this case is a small section of the college football watching audience. It is every Florida State fan and a decent chunk of fans elsewhere who believe that the CFP model is broken. And those people, when the announcement came out last week, those people popped off. They went, wait a darned minute. You were telling me that the people who have a vested interest in these playoffs and now outright own them, you are trying to tell me that there isn't going to be some level of involvement as to how these teams get picked, how these teams get added to the mix. You're trying to tell me genuinely that they're not going to have a say, and now they control the playoff broadcasting rights. And then here we are less than a week later. The CFP is coming out going, nope. Wait, hold up. We didn't really sign that deal yet. So either A, the CFP heard the complaints and decided we're not going to go through with this, or B, their deal was never done or close to done. The deal was never finished. And ESPN just went ahead and reported it, maybe to try to push them to finishing it up, maybe to try to strong arm the CFP into signing the deal, maybe trying to back him into a corner. I don't know. But they were the ones that broke the story about the contract that they had at that point, apparently, according to the CFP, not signed yet. Do you see where my concern comes from here? The fact that the largest sports media outfit in the game right now not only is in control of the game right now, but like pretty much can say whatever they want. And it's taken as gospel. I fell for it. I just went ahead and assumed ESPN's not going to report that they've signed a deal if they haven't actually signed a deal, right? That would be silly. And it turns out, yes, apparently they would. Apparently they would report that they had signed a deal they hadn't signed yet. Which, number one, dings the credibility of the four-letter a little bit, or at least the journalism side of it. Dings the credibility of ESPN and just further enhances the point that I made last week that about half of you guys got mad at me for making, which is this absolutely makes it feel like ESPN has basically unbridled control over this sport. They can make the pushes they want to make. I am, for the record, very glad that the CFP came out outright and said, nope, that's not true. They are wrong. Whether they lied or it was a mistake, they are wrong. But the point here is the narrative is very obviously being controlled by the four-letter. This was what I was saying when the playoff announcement was made, in the weeks following it, last week during this story. I have a concern that an outlet that is directly financially invested in this product now has full control over its broadcast rights. And it's not that hard to convince me that if they have full control over the broadcast rights, they would be willing to and capable of manipulating this setup to give them the most successful television setup. It is not outlandish to think that ESPN, should they find themselves in a spot where an SEC team is neck and neck with a team from another conference, would give them the little extra boost to get in. Yes, my hottest take is that I believe ESPN completely controlled the narrative that got Bama in over Florida State. Absolutely, that's a belief that I hold. And I don't think it's unfounded. I think there's a lot of stuff out there, like particular talking heads that started spinning the yarn about how this team, without their quarterback, as if that hadn't happened multiple times in the past. So I'm glad to see the CFP push back a little bit. I'm glad to see the CFP put this story in check. But the point here is ESPN came out with this story last week. They came out with this information last week. They said this last week, and we all just went, oh, that's like the muses from Hercules. That's the gospel truth. We just accepted it. This is what I'm saying when I say they can not only control the narrative, but they can control the narrative and then have their talking heads go, we're not controlling the narrative. We're not the ones who said that. We're not the ones who made that happen. We're not the ones who made that argument. But they literally just showed you last week that they are and that they can. They literally put out a story that said, here's the thing that's happened, and we all ran with it like it was 100% the truth. And that's on me. That's on me. I just didn't think there was a world in which they would put out a story that incorrect, that wrong, and we would all just go with it. But that's what happened. This is why I've said I get apprehensive about one broadcasting outlet having this much control and power over the market. This was my concern from the beginning. And I think this story kind of illustrated that that concern is founded. That concern is justified. All right, let's run to our final break of the day. We come back here in just a minute. Got one or two more stories that I want to run through. Talk a little more NBA All-Star Game, and then we'll ask what the X is going on before we get up out of here for the day. My name is Rob Brown. The Great Malonzo is on the ones and twos. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the fan upstate. Oh, good, Wesley. You didn't miss anything.
Checkered flag is in the air, and William Byron has won the Daytona 500. William Byron out front when it mattered the most as they began crashing behind him.
The action on the Motor Racing Network. William Byron took the checkered flag at the Daytona 500. The race was
We'll be back. I need to brush my hair. I got it. All right, back from doing my hair. We're good.
The Rob Brown Show back. Lonzo's hair freshly fluffed. And onward we roll in the final 19 minutes of the radio broadcast. Adam Silver says the NBA G League may be on its way out. The idea created 4 years ago was very simple. Give 17 and 18-year-old players who are not yet draft eligible a path outside of college basketball to become a professional, to get paid, and be developed so they could step into the NBA. However, Adam Silver said the introduction of NIL in collectives, as well as the transfer portal, has changed the college game and the opportunities for players. He said, quote, I think given that that's happened, I think we're in the process of reassessing G League Ignite. Now, some of those same players who didn't want to be one and done because they felt it was unfair and they wanted the ability not just to earn a living playing basketball, but to do commercial deals that weren't available to them at college, to hire professional agents, an opportunity that wasn't available to them at college. They now, all of those same opportunities have become available to them. I'm not sure what the future of Team Ignite will be, because before that, there was a hole in the marketplace that we thought we were filling before doing that. And now my focus is turning to earlier development of those players. So Interesting. The consequences. There are consequences to every decision that gets made, to every action that gets taken. And this is going to be one of them.
Now, what's my dude going to do? The guy who's won the slam dunk contest the last 2 years, he ain't got nowhere to work.
My suspicion is there still will be some sort of developmental league. There still will be a place, but it will be more of a Major League Baseball minor league setup than it will be the G League Ignite. I think that's going to be a different game. Now, you have had some good players come through G League. Scoot Henderson of the Blazers, Jalen Green of the Rockets, Dyson Daniels of the Pelicans. All these guys were guys who got drafted out of the G League and straight into the game. I think you will still have the G League or some iteration of it. You just won't have the Ignite version of it. And that's fine. That's okay. This isn't, unless you are an NBA executive, this isn't a big L. The G League's been around for half a decade. Quick pop quiz, Lonzo. How many G League games have you watched?
Let's see. There was 0.
Yeah. Is it bad if you're the GM of a team because maybe you lose another opportunity to see the development of a player that might fit well into your system? Yes, of course. That's a negative. Yes, that's a bad thing. However, nobody's watching, right? Nobody's paying attention to this thing. And so because of that, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, see, this is why portal's bad. This is why NIL's. No, it's not. These kids have the opportunity that the G League was set up, that the Ignite was set up to give them. It was set up to give them the opportunity to make a little change, a little cheddar by doing what they do and being some of the best basketball players on planet Earth. They still have that opportunity. It's just in a different organization now. So I'm not I saw a bunch of podcasts and blogs. Oh no, the G League's going away. I wanted to ask every writer and every host, quick, how many games have you watched? Name me a G League Ignite player right now. Name me one right now.
That guy from Saturday, Max, I don't remember his last name, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, name me a player who wasn't in the All-Star festivities this weekend. You can't. It's not a loss. Okay, it's just not. All right, Jimmy Garoppolo suspended 2 games for using performance-enhancing drugs. According to ProFootballTalk.com, the Raiders just saved $11.25 million because in Jimmy Garoppolo's contract was a clause that makes a suspension under the PED policy one of the mechanisms for voiding the guaranteed payment in the second year of his 3-year contract. There was $11.25. This is where it gets real interesting. $11.25 million roster bonus that would become due next month. That would have gone on top of the $11.25 million salary minus whatever he would have earned somewhere else in the coming season if the Raiders were to move on from Jimmy G. That means that this suspension saved the Raiders $11.25 million. It also means it cost Jimmy Garoppolo $11.25 million.
Hey boss, you know who just failed the test? It was Jimmy. We should report it. We could save some money.
Jimmy PED.
So he got busted by his own team. Guarantee you.
Joey B said 100% howdy doody. I mean, Mark Davis slipped PEDs into Jimmy's protein shake.
See, we're thinking along the same lines there.
Yep. Al Davis pulled the old classic Beavis and Butthead moment. Hey, Jimmy, look, what's that over there? Jimmy, look over there in the corner. Jimmy, look, it's a kangaroo. Jimmy, look. Hey, I need somebody to distract Jimmy Garoppolo for like 10 seconds.
Or Jimmy wanted out because he wasn't starting, so he failed the test on purpose because the NFL doesn't really care about this that much. So he failed on purpose so he can get picked up by another team.
You think Jimmy G wanted out of Vegas to the tune of $11.25 million?
I mean, it's a risky
that he can't make somewhere else.
It's a risky thing. He might be able to make it somewhere else. He could earn it.
I don't think Jimmy G's catching 11.25 anywhere. Not per year. Not a chance. No chance. I don't care how bad off a team is at QB. Nobody's giving Jimmy PED 11.25 mil. I can't imagine.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Atlanta's next quarterback.
Jimmy GQ is not catching 11.25. The Falcons will trade every draft pick to move to 3 and get somebody before they pay Jimmy Garoppolo 11.25 mil.
You heard it here first. Jimmy G, Atlanta quarterback.
For the record, I'll go ahead and call the shot now. Jaden Daniels is quarterbacking Atlanta next year. Atlanta's going to 3. Caleb's going to Chicago. Justin Fields is getting traded to Pittsburgh. Washington is taking Drake May at 2 because they love drafting a mid-tier quarterback in the first round. And Jaden Daniels goes to Atlanta, and Atlanta wins the NFC South next year. Book it. It's done. Steven said Bill and Jimmy reunited in Atlanta. Yeah, Bill didn't get hired. Still hasn't got hired. Why? Because as Rob Brown, master's degree of ball knowing, told you, Bill Belichick's not a great coach. Rob, he's got more. Yeah, I know. He's not a great coach. He's a great locker room builder. As long as you've got a Tom Brady in the building.
How come it's okay to disparage arguably the greatest NFL coach of all time? You know, if someone says anything about Tom Brady, people want to fight, but you can say anything you want to about Bill Belichick.
Because I can directly attribute what happened on the field to Tom Brady. Can't directly attribute it to Bill Belichick. That's why.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
I need to see your documentation later on. Time to ask Rob what the X is going on. Not Twitter. He's decided that no longer it's Twitter, it's X only. The first thing it's Xing, is CJ Stroud.
All right. So CJ Stroud was at the All-Star game this weekend. CJ Stroud is apparently dating a reality star / pop model / regularly scantily clad woman. I think that's what Decker told me on Saturday.
Well, that's what you do when you get that. That's not why he is Xing, as far as I know, but it could be. The thing that stood out for me, out of all the things that popped up on the X when I looked for him, was he just won MVP
of
a celebrity softball game.
Well, a celebrity softball game.
Yes.
Who was hosting a celebrity softball game?
I don't know, but it was just the first thing that popped up when it said he was trending. And
I know it wasn't. He was in the All-Star. Wasn't he in the NBA All-Star Celebrity All-Star game this weekend? I thought he was.
Could have been.
Micah Parsons, by the way, dude. Micah Parsons played this thing. Had like 35 points, 1,000 rebounds. But my favorite part is there was some scrawny little pop music dude that tried to bow up to Micah Parsons and block a shot. And I think Micah Parsons killed a man on live TV. When I say went through his chest, I mean went through it like a xenomorph.
Was Bieber playing in that game? Wasn't him, was it?
It looked like young Bieber. I don't know who the guy was, all right, because I'm going to be real with you. They use the word celebrity very loosely in the Celebrity All-Star game. But this cat looked like young Biebs tried to go up with Micah All-Pro dominant linebacker Parsons. And I'm pretty sure I watched a man explode on live television.
You don't know till you try. You just don't know. The next thing it's Xing is Fallout.
Is there a new one dropping?
No, you're going to like this. The reason why it is Xing, well, the series is coming out, the live TV series is coming out soon, but it's Xing because there was this mod for Fallout New Vegas, and they found it again. It had disappeared, and it's a Limp Bizkit mod. Fred Durst is your companion.
Take him to the Matthews Bridge.
And for some reason, that is trending. All right, the next.
I will buy the game for that.
You don't have to buy it. It's on
Pass right
it's
now?
on Game Pass. Yeah,
I can get the
you
mod
can.
that-
And well, I don't know if 76 has mods or not, but you know what you can do. It's on the computer if you got the full Game Pass.
My computer ain't run a computer game fast, unfortunately.
Well, they got some around here. I don't know if you knew that.
That's all I know. If I can make that happen, somebody call Ryan Horvat, tell him I'm out for the show tonight because I'm going to be running around killing some mutants with the lead singer of Limp Bizkit.
You should look it up. The pictures, the mod looks pretty good, I think. All right.
Yeah!
The last thing that's Xing, aside from Taco Tuesday, which we always forget, it is Tuesday and it is Taco Tuesday, is Bill Murray.
I saw that Bill Murray is trending. I have no idea why, but I'm okay with that he is.
He was hanging with the guys at the All-Star game over the weekend. So hanging with a couple different players and stuff like that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in this area before. Bill Murray just shows up.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
Exactly.
I'm just going to go with this. Two things. Number one, if you're going to tweet about somebody like Bill Murray, every tweet should start with, he's not dead or sick.
Right.
Bill Murray, ...
Well, of course, that's why I clicked on it right
Right.
away, is make sure he's good.
Number two, Bill Murray in Zombieland is the best cameo that anyone's ever done in any movie ever.
He just wanted to golf, and then he got shot.
I stand by that. All right. That's it for us. 20-hour break underway. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again, but better, I think. I hope. We'll see. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo on the ones and twos. Y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah! And there you go. That's it. That's a show. Ugh. Good thing I was running out of gas, but we're back. We're good.
I'll label that chapter horns down just because I want to.
Scientists discovered tiny underground minions that transform carbon dioxide into stone. Well, I have to go because I have to go read science articles now because I'm a huge dork. All right, dudes and dudettes, you're all spectacular people. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Tell your friends about us, et cetera, et cetera. And smash that like button, bro. Bye.